jungle underbrush, my turducken sharks last Puma has returned as a spirit from beyond the Great Veil to guide me.
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Microsoft shill and hashtag fake paid actor Hyle Russell.
And I'm C6 Buzzwick Nick Prol.
All right, welcome Nick. Welcome back to the show. A show, I have to point out, is not about fictional furry animals having sex. So,
yes, we can finally break that myth that you started that I'm the go-to guy for that.
You're the go-to guy for my verbal and audio smut. But
I wouldn't want it any other way, but this is
I know what your fetish is, Nick. I've seen your browser history.
Okay, can we not talk about...
Actually, Scraps saw your browser history when he visited your place on New Year's, and he sent it to me in a very, very disturbing spreadsheet. So I'm
a simple man. I mean, if it's porn with pygmies in it, I'm watching it.
Can we even say that on the air? Okay, all right. Before we actually get started, I would like to give a very quick update on the events of the last episode, the Super Smash Bros. For Switch episode I did with Mitchell Wolf. If you listened to it, you heard at the very end what sounded like my smoke alarm going off, and I kind of had to take off. Well, fortunately, yes, my house did catch on fire, but fortunately my DK Vine office, all of my games, and all of my collectibles were not touched by the lapping flames. They're all safe. The fire only damaged the rest of my home and all of my priceless family heirlooms, so I really dodged a bullet there. Yeah, while my home is being repaired, though, I've decided to record the conversation on a boat, like P. Diddy. So, I figure, what's the safest place to hide from fire? I guess it would be inside a fire extinguisher because of all that foam, but I couldn't find one big enough to actually crawl inside of. So I took to the sea, and I'm on a boat, and unless the boat catches on fire... Yeah, I'm on a boat right now. Wow. The Wi-Fi is really excellent, and it's like pirate radio. So
the fire... Please tell me it didn't destroy Grandma Russell's Precious Moments figurines.
No, ironically, though, it did consume the urn that Grandma Russell was in.
Well, all going to the same place. Hell.
Exactly. Ashes to ashes, as they say. But anyway, I'm on the water. Fire can't get me now. So, I just wanted to say real quick, support DK Vine on Patreon. Now, I suppose that money could go towards buying, new furniture or a bed, everything that was lost in a fire. But no, I refuse to do that. I will take your money and I will put it directly into DK Vine. That's right, you're funding our nonsense. So the only thing I can do then is give you rewards. So you'll get DK Vine stickers at just $1 a month. Whoa! You get the conversation for 24 hours before anybody else at just $2 a month. You can listen live to the conversation for $5 a month. So dkvine.com/Patreon or search for us at patreon.com. All right, well, I'd also like to say, be sure to follow us on social media. Now, Cambridge Analytica will then use that data, but, all they'll learn is, you're following a Donkey Kong website, and then Putin will take that, and he'll give it to the right-wing candidates he's funding across the globe, and they'll say, this person really likes Donkey Kong. That's kind of weird. So let's fuck with their heads, people.
Yeah, it's even worse because we're going to be talking strictly about piracy, so they're probably
exactly. So dkvine.com/Facebook if you haven't deleted your Facebook account. And if you did, why'd you do that? I mean, how are you going to hear my delicious or read my delicious ramblings every day if you delete your Facebook? I take offense to that personally. I don't care if you need to stick it to Mark Zuckerberg. What about little old me? dkvine.com/Twitter as well. And finally, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Nick, can you guess what address I'm about to give for the YouTube channel.
Let's see. I'm guessing it's youtube.com. Am I right so far?
Well, I was going to say dkvine.com/YouTube because we set up those reverse.
That's an alternate way. Okay.
Yeah. See, we set up those reverse. So DKVine comes first because it makes us feel like bigger.
Gotcha.
Bigger
so
men.
dkvine.com/YouTube.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh, okay.
That's the order that should be in.
youtube.com/pygmy-porn, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm sure that exists, but I'm a little leery. I'm going to type it in. You know what? YOLO, as the kids say, YOLO. So let me type that in.
I mean, pygmy just refers to like a small thing, right? Because of the small tribe. It's not racist.
So I typed it in, and there's a purple monkey with the Sherlock Holmes. Actually, he's got a red Diddy hat on. I'm not making this up. And he's got a magnifying glass. I thought it was a Sherlock Holmes hat, but it's a magnifying glass and a Diddy hat. And it says, "This page isn't available. Sorry about that. Try searching for something else."
I just Google image searched it, and I don't recommend it. So
okay. I don't recommend it either. So anyway, so I guess YouTube was trying to give us a shout out, but I hate when they make monkeys purple. All right, that's a pet peeve of mine. Because you see all these
racist.
like... No. Well, I guess it is sort of towards purple monkeys, but they're fictional, so...
Purple Monkey's Majesty.
No, but have you ever noticed how you go into a toy store? Obviously not Toys R Us since they're shutting down, but... Okay, I guess there are no more toy stores. Yeah! I'm sorry, Nick. I'm sorry. Toys R Us is no more.
Okay, I get it. It's one of the DK Vine jokes. Okay, let's move on. He's joking.
Oh, okay. Okay. Believe what you want to believe.
Where am I going to get my Beyblade pre-orders?
Back in the day, I would go into a Toys R Us and I would see purple, like, stuffed monkeys or gorillas, and I'd be like, why are they purple? This is offensive to me as a man who loves monkeys and gorillas. I would want just actual colored furs, like your browns and your blacks. I would even take a white monkey, but purple? Fuck you, toy makers. I don't want a purple monkey. Like,
sure
I understand
Grape
Ape was a thing. Yeah, Grape Ape was a thing, but why does Grape Ape have such sway over the way toy manufacturers perceive monkeys and apes?
I mean, I got an actual hedgehog, and they're blue now, so things change.
That's because you were choking it, Nick.
Listen. My porn, my privacy.
Well, not really, because I have the spreadsheet that says otherwise, but...
Oh, shit.
All right, Nick. All right, so we're here. We're recording this on the Sunday nights after the Tuesday that Sea of Thieves was officially launched. So, Sea of Thieves, we've been talking about it for a few years now here on the Kongversation, and... it was first announced E3 2015. I got to play it a few weeks before E3 2016. And then...
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't talk about it much, but, I got to go to Rare. It was a thing. And then, obviously, it had its big coming out party at E3 2016. And from there, the technical alpha launched at the end of 2016, and that carried forward until the end of the year, and then we entered the closed beta earlier this year, and then that evolved into things called scale test, and then a final beta, and the game is finally released in that you actually have to pay money for it now to play it. So I realize people are probably viewing me as a Microsoft shill, as a Rare shill, as somebody who's in on the take, who has opinions about this game that should be discounted because, obviously he's going to be saying Sea of Thieves is his favorite game of all time, so fuck this guy. I want to hear from somebody who has a negative opinion, because that has inherently more value. You can trust negativity. You can't trust anybody who's trying to give a positive perspective.
Yeah, you can trust someone who was not paid.
I was not paid. I call myself a fake paid actor, but therein lies the secret genius of that, because I was not paid. Therefore, I am a fake paid actor.
See, you don't know this, but Robin Beanland sent me a DM on Twitter. He slipped into my DMs. That's how Beano does it. And he said that when he went out to dinner with you guys, he slipped a little quarter into your back pocket. So technically, you were paid.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah. Well, then forget it. All right, I quit. Goodbye, everybody. I am a Microsoft employee now. Woo! Did it.
All right, yeah, he's gone. Welcome to Nick of Time, everybody. This is my encyclopedic, definitive compendium on all things TT. It's pretty much a daily podcast. It used to be called Kongversation, but it is now changed to this. So we have our first guest on Nick of Time. Everybody welcome Hyle Russell.
Hey, everyone. A little nervous being on a podcast.
Oh, you've been on these kind of things before. You can do it. Now, what is your favorite thing about TT, Hyle?
There's this video on YouTube. It's called "Is Diddy Kong Racing's TT in Sea of Thieves?" I would really recommend watching it. It really changed my life.
Now, Hyle, you made that video. Something that you didn't make.
Oh, well, I only know how to blatantly self-promote, so this is going to be a problem.
All right, Hyle, could you shut the fuck up for a second? Give me a second. I just want to thank our sponsors at Lisa Mattresses and MailChimp. The Nick of Time podcast would not be possible without them. Okay, go ahead with whatever the hell you were saying.
You know, I would support MailChimp if they didn't dye their chimpanzees purple.
All right, you know what? This podcast is over. I quit. You can have your conversation back. I'm leaving.
That's just as well, because it turns out that the pocket that Robin Beanon slipped that coin in had a hole in it.
Oh, so, okay, I'm back.
I was actually never paid. So please welcome back to the Kongversation, one Nick Prol.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me back. It's been a while.
Nick, I realize that my credibility means nothing when it comes to either praising or criticizing Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah, you're human garbage, pretty much.
I am. I am refuse. I am a garbage golem, as seen in the X-Files Season 6 and as seen in the X-Files Season 10, even though they forgot about the previous garbage golem earlier in the series.
Now, when you were on that show, you were a paid actor in that situation.
When I was on the X-Files?
Yeah.
As the garbage golem, yeah. As Trash Man, yeah. Yeah, that was a highlight of my acting career, second only to my appearance in the E3 2016 Sea of Thieves trailer.
Of course.
No, look, because I have to get this out in the open, because I know people on DK Vine, people who read DK Vine, people who visit the forum are going to say, Hyle Russell is a fucking fraud. And I don't care that he's saying he likes Sea of Thieves. Of course he would say that. He's biased. He's in on the take. He got buttered up with buttery rum from Rare, and you know, really, I miss the old Hyle who would complain about a game before he ever played it. That's the Hyle I want back.
I miss the old Hyle who said Donkey Kong 64 was the greatest game of all time.
Yeah, what do you want from me, people? Okay, so I say that, you complain, then I start bashing it, then you complain, so I start praising games again, and you complain? Jesus! I'm taking a drink of Angry Orchard because I'm okay. Angry.
I don't know if apples, do those help scurvy? I think it's just oranges.
Bananas, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Nick, I'm glad you're here because you have not actually been on a Sea of Thieves episode like this.
No, I was on one where we kind of talked about what we wanted to see in it, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
Which would be interesting to go back and listen to, because I know at that time I was a little bit more cynical, and pretty much everything I feared I was proven right, yet I'm still not mad about it. So it's a very interesting situation to be in.
Interesting. So, really quick, explain to the people your Sea of Thieves experience thus far. You got into the technical alpha, but it was very late in the process.
Correct. Yeah, I played a couple sessions, got the feel of it, played with Cameron, and then I kind of... This is kind of funny thinking back on it. I put the controller down because I was enjoying it too much. I said, no, I don't want to get too far and then just lose all my progression. Like, progression is going to be really important in this game, so I'm going to wait. So I pretty much did not have to do that at all. But
because in the technical alpha, it was more of a... here's what we want to test out this weekend. Here's what we want you to really be focusing on. But it was only just a piece of the puzzle, so you didn't really see the whole picture yet. Did you play any of the closed beta then?
I did. In fact, that might have been what I played instead of the alpha. I don't know.
Okay.
Mine had the different merchants and different factions, so I don't think that was the alpha, right?
That would have been the very end of the beta, near the end then.
Yeah, the only one it didn't have was the merchant, whatever, the animal people. It didn't have that one.
Okay. So not the very end then, but okay. So, Nick, I've explained before, actually on the very last episode with Mitchell Wolf, about how Donkey Kong Country came out in 1994, and all of a sudden, I'd been a Nintendo fan up until that point. Mm-hmm. Donkey Kong Country was this game that all of a sudden it just kind of took me by surprise. I didn't read video game magazines before it came out, so I first saw it advertised on TV. A couple weeks before it came out, that famous commercial, where they zoom in on the Earth and then you see the animals running, and you see the gorilla, and it was just very effective towards getting my attention. And then I played the game, and it was the video game I realized I'd been waiting my entire life for, and nothing else mattered after Donkey Kong Country came out. Sure. And I would say then Donkey Kong Country 2 was the ultimate realization of that dream a year later. It was just so much more than Donkey Kong Country, and satisfied urges I didn't realize I had. I realize that sounds very sexual, but it's kind of like discovering you have a fetish. In the process of the fetish being applied to you for the first time, you're like, oh, I don't know about this. Oh, this is amazing.
You have a fetish for brambles, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, you wrap it around your shaft, and it's terrible. Blood gets everywhere.
Crown of Thorns technique.
That's right. But like Jesus, it will rise again. Usually it takes 3 days to heal, but it will rise again. No, Donkey Kong Country 2, that was the ultimate game then, and
let's just go through every Rare game and get your opinion on all of them.
I could do that, but that's kind of getting away from the point I'm trying to make. Sea of Thieves is the game that I've been waiting for since Donkey Kong Country 2.
Get it now. I get it.
It's the Rare game that I dreamed about after Donkey Kong Country 2, and it's taken
intended, of course.
It's taken 23 years to finally get. Like we've said before in the past, it's a game about rare pirates where you get to be a rare pirate and sail the Rare Archipelago. It's pure magic and just something I never thought I would get a chance to actually play.
And from a design standpoint, it fulfills the power dream fantasy of actually being able to work for Rare, because you get to come up with stuff that they didn't come up with. So it's really cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's basically
you get to do their job for them.
Well, the game is, imagine you get to live in the Rare Archipelago, and then it goes from there. So Sea of Thieves is a game I've been waiting most of my life for, and it's so insanely fun, and in a lot of ways the gameplay is tailored to a lot of my sensibilities, which I understand are just sensibilities I learned from Greg Mayles. So it's not really surprising, but I think it's the ultimate expression of Greg Mayles' design philosophies. So much so that I think it's almost off-putting to some people, because it is in many ways not a modern game in the sense that a modern game is.
That's what I love about it. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and we'll be getting into that because I feel like that's a whole point we can make when we get into criticisms versus merit. And Nick, you've had a lot of time to play Sea of Thieves now. You got the game. We've actually played it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to know, what do you think?
Well, let's see. How can I put this? On a scale from, let's see, from a scale from, what's the worst rare game, would you say?
I mean, are we going back before Donkey Kong Country?
No, after.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was going to say Digger T Rock. I don't know.
Forget the scale. Forget the scale.
Can I use the Mickey games?
Okay, sure. Mickey's Speedway, is that what it's called?
Yeah, for the one for the Game Boy Color.
Okay, so on a scale from Mickey Speedway Game Boy Color, and watch us get comments from people who love that game.
It's going to be Memechi.
From a scale from that to Grab by the Ghoulies or Banjo-Tooie, two of my favorites. I would give it a solid. I would give it a right above Banjo Nuts and Bolts, maybe? I don't know. Well, okay. That scale's pointless because no one knows what I think of each game. I'll just say this.
They should just put the Nick Prol scale on the back of the boxes.
I'll give it a blue. A blue out of 8, I think. But no. So far, in the beta, I remember thinking, okay, this voyage system is pretty threadbare and will get pretty repetitive, and I was correct. And also, I don't remember who it was, but people just kept saying there's going to be way more that's in the beta, don't worry. And there's not. And so I don't know if it was Rare themselves that said it. You'll have to let me know. But you can't help but feel a little bit of like, what the hell, Rare? Like, this took you 4 years, and like, what did you spend the whole time on? Just the water? But I'm glad they spent time on the water because it's beautiful. And
I mean, I can't stop looking at it.
Yeah. I kind of feel like about this game like I do about another game, which you may not know a ton about, but Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which came out and had arguably the best gameplay of the entire Metal Gear Solid series, but the worst story. And that's a series known for story, so that's what people were expecting, a good story, but instead they just got like a very finely tuned playground to play in with great gameplay. And that's what you get here. I've had nothing but fun with it. There's been some frustrating moments, some glitches, and stuff like that, but that's to be expected.
And I think that's been slowly getting ironed out over the last couple days.
Yeah, although like the past 3 Order of Souls quests, Cam and I tried doing, the skeletons just weren't on the island. I mean, they were there and you could hear them, but they weren't there. So that was really annoying. And also,
they're devout Christians, so they take Sunday off.
True. Good point. Yeah. And when Mitch and I logged in one time, we just walked up to the dock to get on our ship, and it was sinking as we got there.
That was a common that's happened to me once, and you just basically have to quit and start again. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's little elements like that, and I'm not going to hold any of that against the game.
One of the best experiences playing a game of my entire life, actually, yet I hesitate to call it a game, if that makes any sense.
Okay, you said playground, and I hadn't really thought of it in that terms. That's kind of the way it feels right now.
Yes. There's just no jungle gyms or swing set yet, but there's tons of places you can run around and pretend sword fight with your friends.
I think I wanted to
This is, by the way, the annual bad analogy episode, just to let everyone know.
I wanted to save the talk about the criticisms like closer to the end.
Okay.
Why don't we table
Let me wrap up basically my thoughts by saying I hate it. It's scum. Every copy should be destroyed.
Okay, that sounds reasonable, and actually I think that's the opinion a lot of people wanted to hear. So,
yeah. I'm sorry. I have a more succinct way of saying that.
Okay.
No Man's Sea. I came up with that, dude. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good. No Man's Sea. Isn't that great, dude? Like, I'm pretty original with that. No Man's Sea. It's exactly like No Man's Sky. Oh man, I'm so funny.
You are. That's. I'm sure nobody.
No one's ever thought of that. No, that's literally
not.
Every other comment. That's why I'm mocking it. So I will say so far I have okay, we're getting to the criticisms at the end, but I will say not worth $60, but unless you're like me or you or someone on DK Vine, and then you're gonna have tons of fun because you already have a built-in set of friends you can play with.
Yeah.
And there's tons of stuff to fool around and do, and I've loved every second of it. And having said that, I do tend to like to be honest and fair, and I really think it should have been a Game Pass exclusive at first or something. That would really a lot of people would be less angry, I think, because it's that $60 but no content thing that really bugs people, and I understand that.
It is available through Game Pass, so that is an option.
So I do recommend anyone listening who's on the fence to get it through that. Do not pay $60 yet. As much as I want to support Rare, I do kind of, I don't know, something's fishy. It kind of like when Phantom Pain came out, people were like, what's going on here? Did they fire, or is this because they fired Hideo Kojima, or something's fishy over in Rare Land. I feel like either they were forced by Microsoft to get it out early, or they're in denial of what of the problems it has. I don't know. We'll get to that. But I'll just say I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster of emotion in Nick Prol tonight.
Hey, I expect the unexpected.
You keep me on my toes. Just like those episodes of the X-Files with Trash Men. All right, well, I want to get into stuff we have not touched upon with Sea of Thieves yet, because we were only talking about the closed beta, or we were making allusions to the technical alpha, skirting around the NDA. So I think the thing we can really get into is the very start of the game, and that's...
let me interrupt you. The concept of that NDA is just hilarious at this point, because everything in it that's great that, like, you would want to tell people about, they showed at E3. Like, what are the secrets you guys could have spilled? Like, oh, there's skellies with grass on them, guys. Like, there's not really... I thought that you were keeping secrets from us, like some mermaid kingdom underwater and, like, this giant walrus boss and all this stuff. I was like, man, there's so much stuff they're getting to see. But then when it comes out, it's like, I guess not.
The technical alpha, I'm under 2 NDAs. I got the technical alpha, which I don't know if it actually applies anymore, and then the Rare Visit NDA. So maybe there's a Mermaid Kingdom. I don't know.
Good point.
Maybe Aquaman's in the game.
No, I will say that I think you probably know stuff I don't know still, and I like that mystery. I like that.
Maybe Jason Momoa shows up with his perfect ass and does a little dance for you.
And the White Stripes plays.
So, I want to talk about the pirate creator. And you can make a pirate that looks like Jason Momoa, if that's your thing.
It might take 80 attempts, but you'll get it.
It might take 80 attempts. Okay, so this is, I think, a criticism that some people have of the game, and it's that you cannot design your pirate as a traditional, like, create a character system where you go in and you can, like, fine-tune every aspect of like even like a me or an Xbox avatar, which, you know, ironically enough, Rare made.
People are used to having what are called, like, sliders. Like, they have, like, you go to the weight screen, you slide from thin to fat or white to black. You know, like, you change every little aspect of your character down to even some games have, like, nostril width and stuff. So I think people were expecting that, when really Rare had, like, two things. Either one, Rare had their own unique take on it they wanted to try, which I want to believe, or number two, they hadn't come up with a customization system yet, and they just shipped it as is. But I don't mind the pirate generator. It hasn't affected me at all. I eventually got a crusty-looking sleaze bag that I wanted to use. But I do agree with the criticisms that it's kind of weird how they wouldn't have that, given the premise of the game.
Well, for starters, my favorite fat to thin slider is Jerry O'Connell from Stand By Me to Jerry O'Connell as an adult. But to your point about the pirate creator...
And if you eat a lot of sliders, you will go from thin to fat.
I'm of two minds about this. And before the game came out, I was honestly a little bit on edge about not getting to have complete customization of my pirate. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, my philosophy of the pirates in this game are they are your ancestors. So your pirate character, you should view it as, you know, actually a relative of yours back in the 1600s who was a pirate. And,
I like viewing it as it being me. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Well, I mean, different strokes for different folks. So you can view the game how you want. I'll have my own fun viewing it my way, because I'm viewing it from the canonicity aspect of it. So it can't be me, because I live in 2018. I unless I get a time machine, I can't be a pirate.
Well, that's what I mean.
So,
but you don't view it as you're Hyle controlling your ancestor, right? You view it as you are your ancestor.
I get it. I get into the spirit of I'm my ancestor who might share a lot of similarities with me, but who is also a crusty, drunken pirate who, you know...
I guess all I meant is that I don't feel like I'm controlling an avatar. I try to get lost in it and feel like, you know, it's just I'm climbing the ladder, I'm shooting the gun. You know what I mean?
Well, I understand that, and I think there's different ways you can feel at the same time.
Sure.
I think there's a simultaneous thing
We've proven that already. You can be disappointed and in love with a game at the same time.
There's nuance, people. There's nuance all around us. Open your eyes to the beauty, to the majesty of the world.
To quote Senator Palpatine at the Great Sperm Opera, not in a comment section.
The sperm opera where he was talking about artificially inseminating Anakin's mother with the Force or whatever.
Oh yeah, Shmi got a little taste of. Didn't they come out with Palpatine's first name and it was like Shmi? What was it?
Sheev.
Sheev, yes. Sheev got a little bit of. Wait, no. Did I say Shmi? Is that his mom's name?
Shmi Skywalker?
I think it is.
It sounds right. It's been a while since I've watched.
Speaking of pirates, Shmi.
I think Sheev went in unsheathed.
When he went to Shmi's house?
Into Shmi.
He made a schmear on Shmi.
Oh. The pirate creator, I was skeptical, and I know a bunch of us were. Like, this was the only aspect of Sea of Thieves pre-release where I was like, guy, I don't know if this is the right way. This is going to upset people. And it wasn't really what I was hoping for. I was hoping I would get to create a dude who looked kind of like me.
I wanted Tony Hawk's Pro Pirate.
Getting to actually do it, one, it's not as bad as you initially think it's going to be. It still took me over an hour to create my pirate, but it wasn't as bad because one... So there's how many pirates is there? Is there like 6 or 8 in each wheel or
I want to say
whatever?
6. I want to say 6,
Okay.
but who knows?
Well, if you find one you kind of like, but you're not sure if you want to commit the rest of the game to, you can favorite it. And that holds it, so when you generate the next batch, it stays in the circle, and then so that's what I did, because I initially found one I kind of liked, but I still wanted to see more options, and then eventually one was generated that just spoke to me, and it was just like, this is your dude right here. This is who you want to be, and
your guy kind of looks like Viggo Mortensen a little bit.
A little bit, or Sean Bean. He's got this
Sean Bean. That's who you said, yeah.
Well, he's got this very kind of, like, rugged, like, dashing kind of... Like, he's not overtly ugly.
Yeah.
He's kind of got this dashing, romantic... Not like Errol Flynn, but more like, you know, Lord of the Rings kind of warrior type.
Two things. Firstly, I've been in a crew with you, and you die as many times as Sean Bean does. Secondly, This is the second Sean Bean appearance in a rare game. 007.
Yeah, he was 006 in the game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, it's interesting. This is a lot like falling in love. So, you know, when you're a kid, you have this idealized notion of who you're going to wind up with. And then you actually fall in love, and it just completely, it's like, it defies anything you previously thought, and it's like this game changer. And finding the right pirate in this game, just choosing the right avatar, is like falling in love.
It chooses you, Hyle. It chooses you.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it sounds stupid as shit, but it's true. And I get sort of why Rare did this. One, everybody has physical imperfections. Every pirate in this game has some sort of flaw to them, and even my Sean Bean in sharp, kind of dashing pirate. He has like a little scar on the bridge of his nose. I think what Rare wanted to get away from was people just making themselves or making like perfect versions of them. They wanted a game full of ugly, shifty, kind of low-down, dirty scoundrels. And your pirate, Nick, looks like one of the people who gets arrested on a TV show, Cops, who opts not to have their face pixelated because they're such a dirtbag. They don't care. They view it as a badge of honor. That's the way your pirate looks.
Yeah, he looks like a guy who has heard, "You're free to leave," many times.
He looks like the kind of guy who's been told by the principal of a junior high to please leave and don't come back or he's going to have to phone the police.
Now, who I based him off of, or actually I didn't base him off because I didn't make him. Rare made him.
Yeah.
But there's this photographer dude who has like a big bushy mustache and like he's, you know, like modern art photographers, like they all have their shtick that they're known for. And a lot of the times, I mean, without knowing about photography, which I don't, you look at it and you just think like, okay, so his shtick is a white background. Whoa, what a style. But this guy, he just like takes photos of celebrities in compromising situations or like tied up and like totally perverted stuff. And it's always just like a white background. Do you know this guy I'm talking about? I think he's been accused of misconduct. He's like,
what's his name?
Sleazy. I don't know. I got to look it up eventually. But he's worked with like famous people. I don't know. He has like big aviator glasses and a mustache, and he's like this little dorky guy. But he looks like the epitome of
Unabomber.
sleaze. Like, oh yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought that was weird that Miley Cyrus was working with the Unabomber.
To be fair, the Unabomber would make a hell of a pirate because he hates technology and he's good at explosives. So, yeah.
Terry Richardson. Google image it. Terry Richardson. He is what my pirate and see if these look like.
Yeah, your pirate looks like he'd be at home in a wife beater. I don't know, Nick. He looks like he smells
Terry Richardson.
Like cigarettes and cologne, but like really cheap cologne, like maybe Axe body spray.
Weird, you're still describing Terry Richardson.
He's gonna sue us now. It's a controversial part of the game, but I understand why they did it, and I've got to say, I love my pirate, Cussin Russell, much more than I would had I just designed him myself, because I would have never come up with this guy on my own. And I think, like I said, it's like falling in love, and I now cannot conceive of playing this game as any other dude. I can't. So you kind of just have to.
Because it's permanent.
It's permanent unless you delete your account. So you just kind of have to embrace this going into it and just accept that you're not going to get a guy who looks exactly like you. And once you do that, then it's all about which pirate speaks to you, and you just roll with it because it's actually a lot of fun. And then that really like helps with the role playing aspect of it, because it creates this fantasy of I'm now this guy that I'm not actually in real life. So when I turn off the game, I don't feel like this Sean Bean dude who goes around slitting people's throats. I feel I'm just myself. But whenever I want to feel like a Sean Bean who slits people's throats, I get to play Sea of Thieves.
I sent you a photo of Terry Richardson in Skype if you want to check it out.
I'm good. I don't need to see a picture of the dude. I'm good. I'll take your word for it. He looks like your pirate, okay? I'll just picture your pirate whenever I hear Terry Richardson, and the job will be done.
Okay, but I do have Terry Richardson's wiki page up. I'm going to read it in its entirety right now. Okay, Terry Richardson was born in... Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to commit to the bit and just force me to listen to it.
Oh, no, I mean...
You're a quitter.
That would be the comedic thing to do, but not the kind thing to do.
That's true, yeah. Because comedy is cruel.
Yeah.
I know Cameron had some strong opinions about the pirate creator. I want to hear what he had to say, what he has to say now, because I know it took him a really long time to pick his pirate. Nick has helpfully sent me pictures of this dude, and yes, he looks exactly like your pirate.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for...
Well, I mean, you didn't design your pirate. That was rare. Maybe they had that in mind.
No, I mean, thank you for tearing yourself away and looking at Skype. Really means a lot.
Of course. So, the game world of Sea of Thieves right now, as it exists upon launch week, is that basically on every outposts are basically like the communities across the islands. There's a few outposts in every region, and that's where you go to the tavern as like communal.
It's your home base before you get an actual home base.
Right, but it's also, I mean, you can get murdered on outposts. It's not like it's a safe
There's no
space.
safe zone in this game. There's no safe space.
Yeah.
Take that, snowflakes.
There are no snowflakes because we're in the tropics.
Yeah.
You got the tavern. You've got the shops you can go to, the shoppies, because it's an old time game. You got so I'm sure they're spelled SHOPPES, shoppies.
Yeah, those are great. I mean, right. I love the decorations. I love the art style. You're always greeted with some new colorful character behind the desk, and every time, without fail, a voice that doesn't match in any capacity.
There's a little bit of the Star Fox Adventures aspect to the voices in this game, where some of the, I mean, you don't have full dialogue. You have like a greeting and like a...
That I'm fine with, and some of them do fit, actually, but I mean, when you're talking to a huge man with a frown on his face, and then you talk to him, he's like, "Oh, how you doing there, stranger?" Or if you talk talk to a guy who's smiling and he goes, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" It's like, did they just randomly assign these?
No, I like how you can get this big, like, buff.
No, but he doesn't animate along with it. He's still mad looking, so it wasn't purposeful in any way.
I think there's always this kind of homemade charm to the voice acting in rare games. That it's never perfect. It's never exactly professional. But there's just this certain kind of
But I'm not criticizing the voice acting. That's the thing. I'm just criticizing in the Elder Scrolls games, they would get like 4 male voices and just give it to everyone. Like, that's even worse. But in this one, they actually went through the trouble of recording all these lines, but some of them don't fit the characters, and it takes me out of it.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, a guy can be incredibly poncy and still have a scowl on his face. You don't know his life story, Nick.
Okay, then have him animated to be flamboyant when he talks.
Well,
I think that's a serious nitpick, obviously.
We were playing the other night, and there was a guy who was talking backwards.
Yeah, that was cool. So maybe they are kind of taking the piss, so to speak, with some of these voice choices.
Yeah, I want to know what he was actually saying backwards, and it frustrates me. It frustrates me so much that somebody would put backwards messages in something.
I found out what he's saying.
What's that?
It's "turn me on dead man's chest."
That would actually be really clever if that was true.
It's not.
So, unless you want to play Sea of Thieves with a tape recorder, or we'll visit him when we're streaming, when we're doing a stream of Thieves, and then we'll make sure we play it back in reverse in Premiere.
He's really just saying, "Hyle sucks. DK Vine is garbage."
And that would be accurate. I would be ecstatic. But I like how all the shop owners are different characters, so you don't get like a DKC kind of thing where it's
sure
the same Kong in every world,
or a different colored bear with a hat.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's more of a Brothers Bear scenario where you
true.
get a different character in each area. And
I will say, voices aside, I love the shopkeeps and their animations. Like, whenever you walk in, they're always tinkering away on something else, and then they turn like surprised to see you, and they're always like, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
And they all have different dialogue too. Like, there's all this like. You can, like, pump them for information, and they always have something different to say.
Most of it's inconsequential, but it's charming. One barkeep told me that there was a treasure buried on the outpost. So I don't know how the hell you'd find that, but apparently there is.
Just start digging.
Yeah, just start digging.
And then from there, you've got the 3 factions. There's 3 organizations in the game that basically drive, at this point in time, basically all the action out on sea. So
This
there
is
are
the
gold.
aforementioned and currently talked about content. Whether you want to put quotes
Yes.
around that or not is really up to you and how you play the game. But this is the meat of the game, essentially.
Yeah, so there's the gold hoarders, which they basically want you to go out and dig up treasure for them, or
Awesome
find
designs.
treasure.
They're like part gold. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. You don't always have to dig up the chest. You'll find chests just on a rock sometimes, or just hidden on an island, or in a sunken ship. So while they will give you maps and then you'll have to find which island this map corresponds to, there's other ways to come about treasure as well that you can then cash in with them. They unlock it. They unlock the treasure chest for you and give you a cut.
They're pretty cool. They're in a little tent with it's a little gold key as their logo, and all the guys are like, one guy has like a fake eye that's a jewel and like a silver jaw. They're really cool looking, and pretty much all of them speak in like caveman speak, like gold, more gold, sell, it's gold. Like, and when we say goodbye, he just says gold. So that's kind of cool. And they all their names start with H's, which it was you that pointed that out to me, right? That there's actually a reason for that. The reason is all the hoarders' names start with H. All the Order of Souls people's names start with O. But like everything, like the shipwrights' names start with Sue. That kind of thing. The tavern ladies will always be Tanya or Tasha or Tatiana or something.
Yeah, so basically it's just alliteration. That's the reason why.
Yeah, probably just an easy way to keep them in folders.
That's how we also got an Order of Souls character named Oprah.
Yes.
And I'm not making that up, yeah.
And you get a skull! And you get a skull!
Oh, that's really original, Nick. That's a really original joke to make about Oprah.
No one's made it in the Sea of Thieves context.
Well, I'm sure they have.
Okay, let's, what's a different joke I can make? Oh man, she really has some wrinkles. In time. Boom!
The Merchant Alliance, they're located on the dock, and they're basically the UPS of the Sea of Thieves, where you basically have to be a delivery driver. And so a client will want 3 chickens. So you have to go out on the ocean, find an island with chickens, catch them, and catch specific chickens. So you might want like 2 white chickens, 1 brown chicken, 1 gold chicken. So you have to bring them back.
Yeah.
And
like
bring
UPS,
them back within
they're kind of like Tom Hanks's character in Castaway, except they start on the island.
Right. Shout out to our good friends at the Hanksgiving podcast.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and you have to do it within a certain amount of time. So on the pocket watches in the game, you've got a date. So it will be like the 11th, and so it'll say, bring these chickens back by 12 noon on the 13th. And so you have to do that. And I think the Merchant Alliance quest is everybody's least favorite right now, just because it's I think the hardest in that you actually have to go into the jungle and find these animals, and like there are pigs, and you have to like feed them bananas to like lure them. There are snakes,
which you can charm.
The snakes will shoot venom in your face or bite you or whatever. I think it's the least rewarding or fulfilling thing that people are getting out of the game. But for me, it rounds it out in a nice way. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I'm glad it's there.
Yeah, I would say
it breaks things up.
Take like 3 voyages of each type, go out and get all of them, and then when you come back, switch to the next faction. Like just switch off, so keep it interesting.
And that's part of what makes the game rich right now. It's keeping things varied and also keeping yourself open to go on tangents. So, because when you're out on the ocean, then you're going to uncover different things to do. Like, there's a Skelly fort in the distance. Let's go raid that with another crew and team up.
Yeah. Before you know it, it's oops all tangents, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Before you know it, you're talking about the X-Files and the Trash Man and
Sheev and Shmee.
There's the Order of Souls, and I gotta say, I think the Order of Souls might be my favorite.
Oh, absolutely.
So the Order of Souls, they're this creepy group of occultists with like black oil oozing from their eyes.
They look like they're from a black metal band.
And so they're dedicated to the eradication of the Skellies. They want to claim the souls that are possessing the Skellies and study them. But
what I didn't know is that the reason they want the skull is they can read the mind of.
Mm-hmm. And like, there's this whole lore behind the Skellies too. This whole unspoken lore. And I know people were asking, Mitchell Wolf on Twitter was asking today, he said, if the pirates in Sea of Thieves go to the Ferry of the Damned and come back to life when they die, what are the Skellies? Are they pirates who double died? If so, what does that even mean? And thankfully he tagged the DK Vine in this, as well as a bunch of rare folk.
Oh, that's an obvious answer. I have the answer for that.
Oh, well, let's hear your answer first.
Well, it's much like in my belief system, where personally I believe that when Jesus saved our souls, he basically saved all of us. But before Jesus existed, everyone went to hell. So basically, before the Ferry of the Damned existed, you became Skellies. But then the Ferry of the Damned came and saved everyone's souls, and then you're good.
I like that. That's neat and simple, and it completely writes off all of these generations of people who existed before I was born, so they don't matter.
Exactly.
So I was apparently wrong then, but this is what I said. I said, the Skellies represent an earlier era in the Sea of Thieves that predate the flood of fresh pirates seeking it out.
Wait, you just said this confidently as if it was fact, or did you say I think beforehand?
Oh, no, I never say I think.
Okay.
I never think anything. I just know.
Okay, continue, sorry.
And inadvertently kicking off the golden age of piracy. There's an entire pirate support system in place now to prevent skellification. Essentially, the ferryman, who is the guy steering the Ferry of the Damned, is in on the take, much like people accuse me of being with Rare. He warps a fallen pirate, body and soul, and clothing and inventory, to the Ferry of the Damned. This is where their physical selves are healed. They can then return to their crew, circumventing the Reaper from Grab by the Ghoulies.
It's a sort of
obviously.
Greg Squirreltail situation.
This Get Out of Hell card may have been orchestrated by the Order of Souls in our realm and the Pirate Lord in the afterlife. Either way, it's a closed ecosystem where, if you're a sanctioned pirate, the rules of death don't exactly apply.
And Greg Mails responded to you by saying no.
No, Mike Chapman from Off of Rare liked all of them. So
interesting.
I will view that as a win.
Yeah. I mean, I'll look forward to what he says about it on the next episode of Last Week Tonight, or whatever it's called. Because he looks like John Oliver.
Yes, and I'm sure he's not tired of that.
Oh, probably
whatsoever.
not.
Just like I'm not tired of when people hear my name, they gave me the Hitler salute. I'm not tired of that whatsoever.
Oh, I never even made that connection. Wow. Huh.
Anyway, so yeah, the Skellies are more ancient than any character like sailing the seas now. And the Order of Souls are there to like hunt them down and study them, and they're into the occult, and they'll take the souls of Skellies and do weird shit like put them into tankards that you can then drink out of, and so you can be like drinking out of this mug that's like possessed by a spirit.
It's like a ecto smoothie or something.
Yeah, I know there's a lantern that has that's like lit by soul light.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
It's much brighter. It's much brighter than the standard lantern in the game. So the Order of the Souls, they'll give you bounties that you then go have to hunt these boss character Skellies out on islands, and they're flanked by their crew and other Skellies. So that's another thing you can do in the game. And besides that, and exploration and random events like storms and fighting off the Kraken. That's basically the game right now, and you are trying to collect as much gold as possible and increasing your reputation. And you have reputation and rank with each of the guilds in the game.
The latter of which kind of is more important ultimately, because the gold's really just for cosmetic options at the moment.
you can also buy promotions from the.
Oh yeah, correct. To get better better voyages. Yeah, I would say right now in the state it's in, it's still the beta. But it is the beta for what I think is one of the greatest games ever made. But they just have to make that game first. You know what I'm saying?
We'll get to that.
They haven't made it yet. Yeah.
I know. We'll get to that. So I want to talk a little bit about the music, Nick.
Oh, okay.
Because
Speaking
you're a musical man. You've got a song in your heart and a skip in your step.
Yes.
So what do you think about the music now that you've really had a chance to sit down with the game?
I love the music so much. It's some of the best piratey music ever made. It is so... I love even the loading screens. Like, I'm not mad because I get to listen to the... like the low cellos. And it's just... It sets the mood perfectly. It's not overbearing. It's atmospheric. It comes in and out. It's minimal during gameplay. I love how when you hit another ship with a cannon, it plays like a note. Did you notice that?
Oh, I noticed that when I played it at Rare back in 2016.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I love the music. It's one of Robin Beanland's best works, I would say, and I applaud the man.
And we brought this up before on the show.
He's eclectic.
He's eclectic. He is, like I said, the Harry Nilsson of Rare in that you can't really peg him down to one style. Where both David Wise and Grant Kirkhope, the other big known names from Rare.
And from what I hear, like when he's at the studio, like everyone's always talking at him. It's so annoying.
Took me a second. I was like, oh right, I made a Harry Nilsson reference, and you're making a Harry Nilsson reference. And what do the kids who love this show like more than a good Harry Nilsson reference? Really appealing to that target demographic.
They might like a Warren Zevon reference more.
They might like a Warren Zevon reference more, but not Werewolves of London,
No.
what everybody knows.
A deep cut.
While Dave Wise and Grant Kirkhope are both capable of doing something outside of the typical style they're known for, Robin Beanland, that's all he does. He does not let himself get pigeonholed. So the Robin Beanland of Killer Instinct, the Robin Beanland of Conquer, the Robin Beanland of It's Mr. Pants
Jet
is not
Force
the Robin
Gemini.
Beanland of Sea of Thieves. Yeah. The Robin Beanland of Sea of Thieves is a completely different animal, and so it's really hard to compare your Robin Beanland soundtracks because there's nothing really you can't. They're like
and that's
different
not a knock on
genres.
him either. Like sometimes, I know everybody wants to have their own signature style, but sometimes not having it gets you more jobs. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to be a master of many different styles, in my opinion. That's what
He's
tried to do.
a musical chameleon.
Yeah.
He's a musical yucca.
Yes.
And I think the Sea of Thieves soundtrack is my favorite Robin Beanland soundtrack.
I'll say it is too.
What I like about it, though, too, it's the music is not there to be overbearing.
No.
It's there to enhance the mood, but it's not there to break immersion. So basically, it kind of reminds me of how the music was utilized in the first Donkey Kong Country game. Obviously, music was always playing in Donkey Kong Country, but there were those more atmospheric tracks that relied less on a melody and more on just ambient sound effects, creating a bit of a tune. You hear like water drops and like dogs in the background, and you know,
just little like maybe a little bit of a melody on pan flute or something.
Yeah. But what this is, these are full songs, but they're like almost ditties. Not the monkey, but ditties. Ditties coming from this ethereal plane to like augment and highlight a moment. And then it kind of fades into the distance. It's almost like if life actually had a soundtrack, that's what this music would be, if that makes any sense.
You getting all Walter Mitty on me here? Come on.
What I really like is, like you said, when you fire a cannonball in and it hits a ship directly, you'll get this triumphant bum 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 bum, and then it's gone.
Which is one of a multitude of things that game shares with Wind Waker. That game had a musical note when you hit things too.
Yeah, and I mean that's just helpful gameplay mechanics too. So you know you've actually made a direct hit. You're not just missing. But when you approach an island, you get the really like
the first time it happened,
almost
it was
foreboding.
thrilling.
yeah, it's foreboding. It's kind of it's create this sense of unknown. Like, what am I going to encounter here? And then there's just the music you yourself can make, your pirate can make off your instrument. And that's a favorite aspect of a lot of people.
I might be really stupid. I'm pretty bad with history, but was Flight of the Valkyries written? Wasn't that written after Pirate Times?
It was.
Yeah.
And so I've had to fan wank this away as it was actually written by
then.
pirates.
It was an old anonymous
and,
sea shanty that the composer turned into something else.
No, yeah, Wagner just ripped it off.
Yeah.
He's a complete. So in the Rare Shared universe, Wagner is a complete fraud, and he's basically, you know how people have a conspiracy theory that Shakespeare didn't actually write any of his plays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's basically Wagner in this world.
Except it's true.
So, nothing more that I like than slandering the dead, which is why I like to say that everybody who lived before Jesus times is in hell.
Burn forever, you sick fucks.
Burn, baby, burn. But yeah, it's really like the best Robin Beelan soundtrack, and it's just this towering achievement. And it's even better when you realize Robin Beelan actually composed this on appropriate instrument.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he actually got a hurdy-gurdy. He actually got a couple concertinas.
He got skeleton bones.
He like whenever you hear the rattling of the bones, whenever you're like on a skelly hunting mission, those are actually bones hitting each other. As a vegetarian, I should be appalled, but the fan in
Wait,
me,
so being a vegetarian, you're in denial of bones existing?
Yeah, I feel like we should all be sacks of goo that just kind of
some of us are, I think.
slither on the ground. I really hate bones and bone structure.
Interesting.
We should be shapeless blobs.
But yeah, I just like knowing when I hear that music, that's Beanland's bone I'm hearing.
Okay, I would like to apologize to Robin Beelan.
I've been praising them. Up
Sexually
and down.
harasses. You're sexually harassing Rare right now.
I made it. Oh, is that sexual harassment?
And they don't have to take it.
Yeah.
One thing I've really taken to, and that's probably because I've just recently noticed it since the Merchant Alliance is a relative recent addition. Is that a harpsichord that plays whenever you approach up the Merchant Alliance?
Oh, that dun, 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 that thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a harpsichord.
Because as a fan of 60s psychedelic music, that's really where I'm familiar with the harpsichord.
Sure, yeah.
So I really feel like I should be, you know,
It's very
in a blacklight room.
prim and proper and medieval prog rocky, so it fits that it's for these like merchants that are above you lowly pirates.
Right, because these are all like people of a certain station. Like back in this era, being a merchant was one of the most lucrative gigs you could get. So, and yeah, they're all wearing like their vest, and they're the only characters in this game who aren't pieces of shit or creepy ass pervert weirdos.
You can buy like more fancy, like royal looking clothing, but I haven't seen anyone with it yet because it's really expensive.
It's really expensive, and that's the great thing about the way the game is laid out right now.
Is it?
Is that people... Yeah, people cannot do everything in 12 hours and then lord it over you. Like, it seems like it's taking everybody a long time to unlock stuff.
But,
and
okay, I get not wanting to do everything, but how about we get to do some things? Like, for instance, some of the prices on those were obviously just raised sky high in order to make people play the game more. And in fact, some of them were lower in the beta, the prices.
I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Make them work for it.
Okay. I just would like... I would... See, it has the opposite effect of what they want, though, I think, because the more cool stuff I get, the more I want to keep playing. But if I've been playing for 5 straight days and still don't have that fucking yellow hat I want, I'm going to get mad.
I know you want a piss-soaked hat, Nick, and I'm sorry the pirate you picked is a pee fetishist, but
the heart
that's
wants what the heart
not Rare's
wants.
problem. I will admit that I look at the price for like sales and like ship augmentations, and I'm like, I'm never gonna get that much gold. Obviously I will, but it's just like, Jesus
It's
Christ.
not a deal breaker. It doesn't ruin the game. I just these are just nitpicks I'm saying that I think could easily be fixed in updates that would keep more people playing, in my opinion. But just
And-
this guy's opinion.
They're gonna tweak things, obviously. When, I don't know. How, I don't know. Where, I don't know. But it's.
I just really want this game to survive to become what it should be, because it's so good.
They might even have like sales occasionally in shops. Like, oh, it's the.
They do sell
obviously
sales. They sell them at the shipwright.
Yeah.
That deserved more. If this was a club, I would have gotten a standing ovation.
Yeah, if this was a club, you would have.
No respect.
The lights would have gone up, and you would have been greeted to an empty audience, or somebody would have heckled you, and then you would have pulled a Michael Richards, not a Terry Richardson.
Yeah,
Michael.
What
Richards,
did you say in the audience? Are you a fucking pygmy? 50 years ago, you would have been. Oh, sorry.
I would like to apologize again to all of the. Can I say pygmy? Is that an actual?
Yes, there's such a thing as pygmy ponies, pygmy frogs. It's like something that's littler. It's a term based on a tribe of people that were very small.
Okay.
I mean, to label someone as a pygmy in public would be racist, because I don't think there's a lot of pygmies walking around. But that's not what I was doing.
So I just looked it up. Okay, so it says I just looked it up on that flawless source that is Wikipedia. So I know this is accurate. It says the term pygmy is sometimes considered pejorative. However, there is no single term to replace it.
Ah.
So
use what you got.
I think
if you can't beat them, pygmy them.
I think you're in the clear this time, Nick. I
this
think
time,
you're in the clear. For now,
there's all those other instances that I was not in the clear.
10 years from now, this might be considered horribly offensive and dated, like the stuff DK Vine did 10 years
from
ago.
now, it might be illegal to have pets or some weird shit. We don't know how things are going to progress.
That's true. So in the live stream chat right now, our good friend Amazing DJ Dustin said that they said they wanted to have in-game events, so maybe the store is having items on sale. So
yeah.
I think that's definitely... They would have a Columbus Day sale, except in this case it would just be like Columbus has just died.
It would just be a bunch of bloody
something.
like head costumes from... Or not costumes, that's offensive. Clothing from natives you get to buy.
Can you get that foot in your mouth a little bit further?
I'm
Nick?
edgy. I'm edgy. Columbus was evil. I'm edgy.
Hit the tonsils. I was gonna say smallpox blankets.
That works.
But,
that would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Can't believe I called them costumes. Ugh.
Well, anyway, and Dustin also says one idea. Sorry, I was reading. I realized that doesn't make good podcasting.
Great
He says one idea I had was that you could take hats and jackets right off skeletons on islands. That would be pretty cool if you could just strip a corpse. Like, just
who was it? Steph or somebody? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, there should be an order of necrophiliacs in the game who want you to, like, desecrate corpses, and then you get a share of the rewards.
Wow. You make Pygmy look inoffensive. But I think it was Scraps or maybe not, sorry if it was someone else, but they said, like, when other players die, they should leave a skeleton or whatever that, like, disappears after a while, but you can turn in their skull to the Order of the Souls. That'd be cool. But it goes against your skelefication lore.
That Mike Chapman liked. And I'm not saying Mike Chapman has made it canon or anything, but I'm just saying Mike Chapman liked it.
Mike Chapman likes things Snorkel the Dolphin tweets, so, I mean, come on.
We all like stuff Snorkel the Dolphin tweets.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them true.
I think Snorkel the Dolphin speaks great truths, Nick, and quite frankly, I think your life would greatly improve if you would just follow a little bit of his advice. Advice number 1, don't let an anchored bisect you. You don't want that to happen.
True. Oh yeah, there's no anchors in the game, but I'm fine with that.
Well, okay, so there's physically there's no in-game graphic representing anchors. You drop the anchor and you hear it, but if you're below the ship, you don't see any anchor.
Yeah, no problem.
So, yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Some things you just gotta protect.
I was pretty, shocked when I saw the screenshot of the Kraken underwater and it just being tentacles, were cut off at the render. But then when I finally got to one, I realized, they used a camera glitch to see that. When you're in the water, it's pitch black with ink, so they didn't intend you to ever see that. So I'm much more okay with it now.
Right. And it creates a greater air of mystery to, wonder what the body looks like. That's why, when I make love, I do it through a hole in the sheet.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, all right. We talked a little bit about this, but let's dive right into it. So, the mainstream criticisms of Sea of Thieves. Here we go. Bam, bam, bam. Let's do it. I was punching the air right there. That was what the pow, pow, pow was. You couldn't see it. I was amping myself up. I'm going into the fight. All right, like Rocky Balboa. I'm fighting Apollo Creed here. So there were some technical difficulties in the first few days, and
that's to be expected with an online game.
That's to be people get so upset. I spent $60 on this, and this aspect isn't working right. Maybe it's because I don't stop playing a video game, but I realize some people play a game and then they just move on, and so if the game's not flawless on release, because Far Cry is coming out next week, so
that's what I'm saying. I don't view this as a game. This is an ever evolving virtual playground chat room pirate simulator. Just give it time. It shouldn't be graded as a game.
It's Second Life, but because it takes place before your life, it's zero life. It's
Second Life.
Everybody who plays this
ironically,
game has zero life.
There's less pegging in Sea of Thieves than Second Life.
So technical difficulty in the first day included some errors where people just couldn't get onto the server.
Cinnamon beer.
These happened in the technical alpha quite a bit early on. They've smoothed it out. There was a period where the server was down for maintenance. There was a period, that's to be expected from time to time. That's just going to happen throughout the game's life. There was also a period where matchmaking wasn't working properly. And in the first few hours, maybe the first day of the game, you got gold and it wasn't registering the gold you got, or it wasn't registering your rank going up.
I think achievements are still broken. I haven't gotten one.
I'm pretty sure achievements are still down, except for the rare case here or there. Because I've done things that I know weren't achievements, and the achievements haven't appeared yet. So unless I'm just deluding myself, achievements are probably broken still.
Yeah.
But gold seems to be working again. You get gold instantaneously now when you cash in stuff or complete objectives that will grant you those doubloons. But I see people flip out over technical difficulty. Technical difficulties happen everywhere when technology is involved. You just got to roll with it. It's part of life.
I've never been one of those guys who's dude, Banjo 2, you like that game? But the frame rate, I never care about the technical side. As long as I can play a game, get the visuals, get the story, get the dialogue, it's okay if it has a bit of technical problem. Now, some games are just too glitchy to even play, obviously. But,
Right. There's a breaking point with everything. Sea of Thieves is so far away from any breaking point. Even that first day when they were having the most trouble with it, I was just okay, whatever.
What happens to me a ton in game is what I like to call bamfing, which is where I teleport all around unintentionally, and I think that's just due to my probably my internet though. I wouldn't say that's the game.
Right. You mean when you're playing a video game and you're not teleporting in real life, because that's alien abduction,
Sea of Thieves
Nick.
Specifically.
Okay. Gotcha.
I'll be standing in one place, I won't even move, and then suddenly I'm in the ocean. And then I'm in a lighthouse. Then I'm in, or there's no lighthouses. But you
found a lighthouse? Holy shit, Nick! Yeah, that would be amazing if you found the lighthouse, considering it's not in the game.
That'd be cool.
You just teleported into a completely different game. You teleported back into Diddy Kong Racing somehow.
Well, there is a Crescent Isle.
There's a glitch where the boat takes off while you guys are while you're just starting, and even if you vote to scuttle the ship, then it just like there's no way to get back from it.
Oh,
you have to quit the game.
Wait, so would you say that would technically a scuttle bug?
No, what? I didn't say bug. I said ship.
No, but you're talking
Scuttle
about a
boat,
bug in the
maybe.
game where the scuttling doesn't.
Oh, see, my senses are sort of dulled because I finished my Angry Orchard and I'm looking at this grog recipe that Rare sent out, and I'm imagining
If we were in a
drinking
club,
now,
that would have gotten a standing ovation.
No, you're right. Yeah, because I'm sure everybody in a comedy club would know the Donkey Kong 64 character Scuttlebug, who was officially named and not at all named by a fan site in 1999, and we've just stubbornly forced everybody to accept it using some arcane permission by Lee Loveday on Scribes as our reasoning. That's comedy club fodder. That's right up there with what's the deal with the airplane peanuts? Whoa. So yeah, I mean the first few days of Sea of Thieves haven't been without some glitches, some technical difficulties, but things seem to be calming down now. And even when there were problems, the game was never outright unplayable. So
It's been mildly annoying at best.
Yes, a mild inconvenience in a life full of them. So the big complaint right now is the game world is too small. There's not enough to do, etc.
I don't get the game world too small thing. I'm fine with the current size. I do understand where there's not enough to do comes from, because in a normal game, and we must remember this is not a normal game. It's just a game like this hasn't. I don't know if it's never been made, but it's been a while. So like people are expecting something else, which is okay. I was expecting it too. But the meat of this game right now is what would be side content in another game, basically. And I think that's pissing people off.
A little. See, so here's what I'm thinking has transpired. And I could be wrong. I have no inside information on this. So this is just all speculation. But I would imagine that Sea of Thieves has been in development for a few years now.
Almost 5.
Yeah, what's that?
Almost 5.
Microsoft was launching this Game Pass, and they wanted Sea of Thieves there for it. And they wanted to start making money off Sea of Thieves versus it just, continually pumping money into development without any profit to show. So I think they were satisfied. Microsoft and or Rare thought we have a pretty good base right now.
Do you think when they finally got it certified, the game was done, wrapped and loaded, ready to go? The people that we saw on all the promotional material, the people we know from Rare, they honestly 100% in their heart thought people will be fine with the amount of content of this. Do you think that? And I'm not. I'm not baiting you. I'm not saying I know either way. It's a curious question.
I have no way of knowing, honestly. I think, for me, I didn't have a problem with it because the underlying game itself,
exactly,
the sandbox is so much fun and so tailored to my sensibilities that.
Which is interesting because you're not really a multiplayer or online guy most of the time.
But I'm a co-op dude. I love a good co-op experience, and I love the Rare's world and sensibilities.
This is the best co-op experience I've ever had, period. Ever.
It's so much fun. And that's another thing about the people complaining about Sea of Thieves right now. The experience of Sea of Thieves is different with each and every session. It all depends on who you play with and what other pirates you encounter out on the open ocean. That is the variable that changes each time. And I feel like, unfortunately, maybe some of these people just aren't crewing up with the right people. They're crewing up with random people, which can be fun. You can crew up with a random person, and it can be completely unexpected and delightfully weird, and you can make friends that way. And there's a lot of experiences like that. But I think it would behoove everyone to crew up with your best friends or people who you just instinctively get along with. And
now, correct me.
just
Now
magic.
you can tell
That's
me if
where
I
the
was right
magic
or not.
happens.
Was it Rare themselves that said the beta is only 20% of what's in the game, or is that just someone else?
I don't know where he got those figures from. I know that what we have now is just the opening salvo, the swoopy salvo, and obviously there's a lot more that they've talked about, a lot more that they've hinted at that we haven't gotten yet. So I think
why do you think they promoted with like huge statues of Flameheart and stuff at E3 if that character's not even in the game at launch?
Because I think that the philosophy behind that is you start playing the game now, Flameheart will become an active element later on. They're going to be adding stuff. The game world is going to be evolving, and they wanted to give people the opportunity to start building their pirate legend, as they would put it, and from there, this is just the foundation, and from there they're going to keep building on it, and the world is going to evolve not only based on elements they introduce, whether that be Flameheart or Captain Blackeye or whatever, but based on the deeds and actions of the pirates themselves, the players. And so I think that philosophy is so weird for gamers, and I don't think it's really been promoted as well by Microsoft. Rare has been pushing it, but I don't think it's really been a fundamental part of the marketing behind the game. So it's a little... something's getting lost in the communication here, and people don't realize that there is definitely more to come. This isn't just the whole game as it's going to stand forever. This is just the beginning. The pirates are first entering the Sea of Thieves, and there's going to be more as time goes on. Now, for the people who bought it on launch and were expecting a complete like MMO experience on launch, yeah, maybe $59.99 is a little bit too pricey. Maybe you're right, Nick. Maybe they should have just included it with the Game Pass at launch. Now, I don't want the game. I just want to play Sea of Thieves, so I'm glad they gave us the option of also buying the game.
Me too.
But I also have faith in what Rare says, and that this is just the beginning. So I don't mind shelling out the money. Plus, this is such a fun game for me that I'm getting my money's worth regardless.
Me too. But is it just the beginning if people don't let it live to the point of seeing more? I'm just really worried.
I don't think that's going to be the problem. Like, it's been out for upon us recording this, it's been out for 5 days. So anybody spelling doom and gloom for the game, it's way too premature for that. One, this is a game that Microsoft is going to want to keep around because it's a killer app for Xbox Live, for the Game Pass.
It is, in my opinion, but not in a lot of opinions right now, I would say.
Yeah, but I think any early or rough launches can be overcome in this day and age. I really do feel like once the game builds on itself, people will be giving it a second chance.
I think Rare would be guaranteed to have higher success if they were transparent when releasing the next update. Like, release a video of saying, like, we thought that would be enough, but we are sorry. Not that they have to apologize, because they didn't do anything wrong, obviously, but it'd be really cool.
I don't think they have to apologize.
Of course. Okay, I don't mean sorry. But, like, how they made that video talking about how they were addressing the technical problems, that was really cool. They need to do more stuff like that, where they're in touch with the community, which they're doing. But I'm just saying it would be cool to be, like, make a video saying, well, we heard you guys weren't satisfied and you want more content. Well, here's your content. Or just at least... recognize the problem instead of being in denial about it, I guess, and just saying make up your own stories, because as much as I love that philosophy of the game, it's also kind of a cop-out.
Maybe, but I feel like that's also kind of a really engaging part of it. Like,
yeah, I just said I love that part of the game. I'm just, in a perfect world, it would have more content. That's all I'm saying. Like, I love the game.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just... I don't know, people were maybe, expecting to be able to do more, where Rare maybe thought this will be enough initially. This will keep people busy for now. And it's just not having that content readily like available, even if it's stuff you couldn't get to, just not having it there initially. It's wigging people out, and maybe Rare wasn't expecting that, or Microsoft wasn't expecting that.
In Rare's defense, they've had like 4+ years of showing this thing over and over again at E3, and they've pretty much only showed what we got. They didn't like show anything that was cut out or that they lied to us about or anything. So like, if people didn't get by now what you do in the game, like, I know they only released info on the progression system not that long before the game came out, but you know, it's been obvious from the beginning that like you're just getting treasure chests full of gold. And like, I remember on the episode where we were talking about what we wanted, I was kind of confused as to what's the whole point, you know. But I remember you saying you can't know what the point is until you play the game, and I was like, yeah, right, he's full of shit. But then when I play the game, you're right. So yeah, you got to play it to understand.
It really is a game that, because there's nothing else like it on the market. And it really is a game that's really skirts the line between a modern video game and classic quintessential Rare philosophies. And I think that's kind of weird for people, whether it be modern gamers who are used to, you know, basically, you know, shelling out for all this DLC and whatnot. And Rare's been upfront about what the DLC, you know, they're going to have pets in the game that you can, you know, pay for, you know, paid DLC.
But if they're smart, they will announce something before that, because the last thing people want to hear is the next thing is paid DLC. You know, they should have something before that, just in case.
Yeah, although I'm not going to complain if that's the next thing, because I want my goddamn monkey.
Oh, I'm buying a monkey.
I want my monkey on my ship. So, anyway. Yeah. The criticism is a little disheartening, because for me, I don't feel it when I'm playing the game. And I know, like, this is just the beginning of the story of Sea of Thieves, but we live in such an impatient culture, and we also cannot accept anything that's less than perfect. Anything less than perfect is somehow a failure.
Yeah. Even it got a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to buy that. That's pretty much how most people.
Yeah, even if it's insanely fun, even if it's a totally unique experience, even if it's one of the best games you can ever play with your friends, if it's marred in any way, then it's a piece of shit, and people should be burned on.
Has there ever been a perfect Rare game though? Even DKC 2. I guess that's perfect in your opinion, right?
I mean, it's essentially it still has its.
Yeah, what I mean is like Rare makes flawed masterpieces. They're masterpieces of design with Rare's own. I wouldn't even call it flaws. It's like their charming rough edges, I guess. You know what I mean?
You know, when you say like those classic Rare games, they have nostalgia behind them, where Sea of Thieves only has essentially 5 days behind it.
Yet I already have nostalgia for certain stories that have occurred to me in the game, which is crazy.
Well, yes. But I think to all those people who are like holding it up to older Rare games, you're holding it up to the way you felt about a video game when you were 12 years old.
Yes, and something that struck me, I was telling Scraps this, is that I feel like all the games post-Microsoft that they've made, besides the Kinect games, are super misunderstood. Like, from a fundamental point of view. Not just, it's not Banjo 3E. Not that kind of misunderstood. Like, misunderstood from the base level. Like, they've been making these games with Microsoft where they make, like, this new mechanic or a new creation system or something like that has never been done before. And then they kind of just throw it out to you and let you, like, be creative with it. And that's sort of what happened in Nuts and Bolts. That's what's in Viva Pinata. And that's what's in Sea of Thieves. There's never been that much of a story or cinematic quality to any of these games. And I think if people haven't gotten by now that that's their design philosophy, that I don't know when they're going to get it.
Well, even a game like Grab by the Ghoulies that didn't have that is still like woefully misunderstood.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's a classic beat 'em up. It's great arcadey action and everything. But once again, there's no real story and not a bunch of content. Yet it's still great because the way you feel while you play.
The story is a creepy sex offender is kidnapping children in a haunted house. I mean.
Oh yeah, I forgot it was about Terry Richardson.
Oh, all right. We've got some calls to take, but I don't know. I want to read some of the live stream comments too.
Oh, yeah.
Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this. Zaxel Excel says, I half think they got pushed to get it out, but also that they just need to get the foundation out to build it. I mean, the pirate captaincy update is something big they're working toward and rumored to be about 3 months off. And yeah, I think they're, obviously, look, I don't know the inner workings of Rare or Microsoft Games and Microsoft Studios. I haven't, I don't have a spreadsheet of all of Phil Spencer's desires like I do with Nick here. But what I'm thinking, is that they couldn't show this game at another E3 without actually having anything to show for it. They have a very, very solid foundation, and they proved that with the technical alpha and the closed beta. And they were like, all right, this game is we have a fun game here. Let's launch it. It has to be a full price game because we're going to be investing a lot of capital in it going forward as we continue to build this. And at a certain point, they just had to get it out the door to then build upon it. But how do you communicate that? They should have maybe been, like you said, more transparent up front with, hey, this is the game as it exists today. Here's what's coming in the future. So even if it's not physically in the game right now, it is coming.
They flat
so
out
even if you can't
said they don't have a roadmap, or if they do, they won't share it. They said that. So I don't think that's the way to keep people around.
Yeah, and I don't think it's that they don't have a roadmap. I think it's that they won't share it.
Yeah.
But maybe they should start at least hinting.
Not sharing it makes people more suspicious that you don't have one, is all I'm saying.
Well, especially when people are just so eager to see things fail. Yeah. It's like
it's schadenfreude.
There's this terrible saying that I really hate. That's if you can't do, teach. And I think that's very disparaging towards teachers, which we need now more than ever. But I think a better coin of phrase would be,
if you can't teach,
if you
teach
can't
Jim.
Do...
That's from some movie, I forget.
I've had some pretty I had like one great gym teacher in my life, and that was when I was at Penn State, so let's not talk about that. I didn't go to Penn State. I just wanted to make a terrible joke. And that terrible joke was that I went to Penn State. Oh, good. But no,
Wow.
Yeah. Take that, Nittany Lions. No, but if you can't do, bitch. And so you get all these armchair critics who are like, this sucks. And the game itself is pretty damn brilliant. They're just... There needs to be more there.
Again, the main problem comes down to the $60 price tag, in my opinion, at this point. Because once you pay $60 for a product, you have every right to bitch and moan, and so they have a right if they didn't get what they wanted to get. But that doesn't make me dislike the game any, just because people didn't get what they wanted to get,
I know, but I have to wonder, and maybe this is just from my lofty perspective, because I'm flush in cash, and I can afford, any desire my heart has. I take baths and caviar, vegetarian caviar, of course, but which they actually make. Did you know that? They make vegetarian substitute caviar for the snooty rich vegan out there. I've not actually tried it because I've never actually had a desire to eat caviar, but it exists.
How do you know when caviar is vegan?
It's not actually made of fish eggs. It's made of some sort of...
No. The correct answer is a vegan will tell you.
Oh, okay. I got it. Because us vegetarians, we're all such snooty assholes.
I said vegan,
and
not
a
vegetarian.
lot of us are.
You're
oh,
fine.
well. since I've become lactose intolerant, or since I've realized I'm lactose intolerant, I've essentially become vegan, with a few exceptions.
I'm just kidding. I'm just using a stereotype.
But I fucking hate Whole Foods, and I fucking want to punch half the people in there. So does that earn me any credibility?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So anyway, as far as the content goes, I think it's a hard philosophy to sell that just because you can't data mine it right now and see that it's there doesn't mean it's not coming. So what's the difference? We're going to have events. We're going to have like the big in-game events. We're going to have additional content. I'm sure the game world itself is going to expand in due time. So just because we can't get to it today, does that mean it's not actually there? If it's something you would have to progress and build to anyway, what does it matter? And I guess it's just a weird, flowery way of thinking about things. Like, if I first played Donkey Kong Country 2, and when I was playing Crocodile Cauldron, if K-Rool's Keep wasn't in the game, and Rare actually was going to beam that in a few weeks later without me knowing, would that have changed my opinion on the game then? Maybe. I don't know. Again, it's a weird way of looking at things, but Sea of Thieves is kind of an experience right now, more so than a game. And it's a brilliant experience. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had. Actually, it's the best experience I've ever had playing a video game. I still stand by that. I don't think I've ever had as much fun playing a video game as I have playing Sea of Thieves.
Certainly, I can agree with that. At least, I would say co-op. And also, I can't guarantee that in a year from now I will still agree. It really depends on how much they grow the game, but I have to kind of be the voice of critique here, even though I love it. You know what I mean? So it's
Mm-hmm. I understand and respect that.
Just for people listening, like, I'm sure people have valid reasons for not wanting to get it or something, and that's totally cool. I'm saying, like,
of course,
get it on Game Pass or wait for the price to go down. I agree, but then after that's all said and done, it's like the most fun thing I've ever played.
Right, and I really can't wait to see. Like, the thing is, I can't wait to see what they roll out. But part of me is like, well, hold on, I still want to increase my rank. I want to do all these things with the game as it exists right now before it gets even more complicated. I don't know. There's a certain purity to it right now that I kind of want to revel in just a little bit longer, unless it hurts the game's bottom line, and then quickly add stuff. I don't know. But all right, we got some calls to take, Nick. So let's hear what people have to say. Now, this first call is 3 parts.
Oh Lord!
So rather than just commenting on each one,
got a real J.R.R.
individually,
Tolkien.
I better hide my pirate then, because he's gonna get shot with arrows. So let's take all 3 parts back to back to back, and then respond.
Hey guys, it's Ethan Urban the Bear here, and I'm sure you've been spending this entire stream, talking about how much you love Sea of Thieves. I haven't gotten to play it myself because the Microsoft Store sucks. But I feel like I gotta play devil's advocate because we need to discuss Sea of Thieves' critical reception. Because, oh my god. I don't want to make anything like, oh, I was right, but I feel like some of my pessimistic predictions are starting to come to fruition with Sea of Thieves. Some people are claiming that lacks content, and dare I say, it's turning out to be a critical failure. I'm not here to belittle you guys. I'm sure you guys are having a great time with it. You guys can talk about how much of a great time you've been having with it. And I mean, I haven't played the game yet. I can't judge for myself, mostly because the Microsoft Store is stupid. But guys, I'm scared. I'm scared the Sea of Thieves has now failed in a certain sense. In the public eye, Sea of Thieves has almost basically failed. Yeah, they can do it with updates, but first impressions are everything. as we saw with No Man's Sky, I believe it was it last year or the year before, first impressions are everything. They can update the game to include more, but it's likely most people are not going to give this game a second chance. And so, for a very large audience, Thieves has failed, and to that audience, Rare has failed. But sorry, I'm worried about Rare. I'm worried. I'm worried sick. This was supposed to be Rare's big comeback. This was supposed to be Microsoft's giant AAA, grade A masterpiece of the year, and look what happened. Despite how much enjoyment you guys probably have and how much you love the game, look what happened. What is Rare going to do now? Their giant, what was at least marketed as their giant big comeback, this giant brand new game, it's failed. I don't keep saying that, but I don't know what to think. I know I was really pessimistic toward the game, but that last month when I turned around, I wanted this game to succeed. I wanted to prove my initial thoughts wrong. I wanted to prove it, but from everything I've seen and all the reviews that are coming in, all the ratings, it just looks like it's going to fail. It has failed. It has essentially failed. I'm sorry, but in the critical respect and in the public eye, the game is. Hey guys, it's in the Bay Area, Ethan, and I'm continuing, I guess we say, my Sea of Thieves doom and gloom call. Now, and I just want to make this perfectly clear. I'm not belittling you guys for enjoying the game. If you guys I've seen you guys stream, I've seen you guys talking on the forum, you guys love this game, and I can see that. I can see why. So if you thinking I'm just bringing all this in to say, oh, you guys should not be enjoying this game, no. Are you kidding me? I love ukulele. I love ukulele, and look at how that game did. Look how that game did. I love that game, but look how it did. And much like that game, we can't just ignore the critical reception. We need to face it head on. We need to. So, my question is right now, well, again, this is supposed to kind of be like your giant comeback, you know. It kind of had at least a lot of people falling out after the Kinect era, but now this is supposed to be their giant comeback. So, what are they going to do now? Because I'm worried about Rare. I'm worried, sick. Like, that Sea of Thieves just built up so much. Microsoft don't back out of it, and it just critically failed. It's just, oh my god, it's just plain horrifying for me to see. It's just plain horrifying, and Rare's reputation is probably just sinking lower, as much as I love them. But what's Rare gonna do now? Because as I said, they can do updates, they can fix the game, and who knows, maybe they'll change some minds, but as I saw with like games like No Man's Sky, it's very hard to shake first impressions. So, it's not going to change the Metacritic, it's not going to change the reviews aren't going to go back and change their scores, nothing like that. So I'm guessing the only way for Rare to redeem themselves is with their new game, and some of us have been shaking around the forum, but Rare needs a crowd pleaser. They need to win back everyone, not just DK Vine, not just just the little thing. They need to win back everyone, and you guys say it, and I don't want to be that fan who just rejects everything Rare does because he just wants a new game, but I think it's time for Banjo-Kazooie. I think it's or Conquer any old franchise, but Banjo-Kazooie is just the silver bullet. It's just, and I know I'm coming at this like, oh, you weren't gonna like Sea of Thieves, you just want a new Banjo game, but I want the Banjo. Like, if I'm saying I want a new Banjo game at this point, it's less for me. It's more for Rare, for their sake. Hey guys, it's Ethan Bay in the Bay Area, and here's part 3 of my call. I'll try to wrap it up here, but when I say, I feel like, especially for, if Rare should maybe work on a new Banjo game, I know the thing is, I'm probably just being greedy. I was never going to like Sea of Thieves. I just want a new Banjo game. That's probably the interpretation I'm giving, but I don't. If I want the game for anyone's sake, it's Rare's. I want for them to build up their reputation again, because Their reputation is falling after Sea of Thieves once again, after they've just finished this uphill battle. You know, after Rare Play, after all the marketing, all the marketing stunts for Sea of Thieves, it's just awful. And I feel like a Banjo-Kazooie gamer, really any of their franchises, but let's face it, Banjo-Kazooie has the most demand. That would be the easy winner. That would be the easy way for Rare to get back all their notoriety, everyone back on board. We saw it with the Banjos back to Original Nuts and Bolts Trail. We saw it with Ukulele's Kickstarter success. People want Banjo-Kazooie again. And I just don't feel like if Rare made another original game after Sea of Thieves, people are just going to turn up their noses at it because they've been disappointed after Sea of Thieves, and Rare's, again, it's all about Rare's reputation. But anyway, I didn't want to turn this into but what do you guys think? Because, again, I'm scared. I'm scared about Rare. I'm scared that after everything that they've done, after this giant uphill battle where they finally won back, they pretty much won back me, they won back everyone else, and now they're just falling again. They're almost like starting to tumble back in the same pit they were during the Kinect era. They're after Nuts, the same pit they were in after Nuts and Bolts. Like, what are they going to do? I'm scared. I'm terrified. I'm just, and what is Microsoft going to do if, like, what's after Sea of Thieves? What are they going to do to Rare? Can they just keep Rare running as they are after their big 2018 AAA blockbuster just sunk? So, okay, I'll leave it here. What do you guys think? I think Rare needs a crowd pleaser, and I think they need it now. And while I hope updates can shape Sea of Thieves, I unfortunately think the ship has sunk. End of the guy. You guys are allowed to love it as much as you want, but I think the ship has sunk. I wish Sea of Thieves could have impressed more people, got in like 80s, 90s.
Nick?
Yeah.
How do you... I'm trying to tie a rope right now.
Oh, you want the Gideon knot. It'll basically constrict the airways faster, so you're dead before they find you.
I was thinking a Windsor knot, and
Windsor, it's fine.
Well, okay, but it just wasn't. I didn't really feel like I was getting much like grip around my neck, and so Gideon knot. You said.
Yeah, you want it to be able to.
I don't know how to
carry the heft of a human body, because you might think you don't weigh a lot, but your rafters are kind of weak, so.
Well, in this boat especially, and can you help me? Like, I realize you're all the way in Arizona, but I can't tie this myself. I realize.
I've heard of something called a suicide hotline. I think they help you walk you through how to do it or something. So you could try that.
Is that what the DK Vine hotline is now? Because holy shit.
Now
Man,
I don't know if I'm not very good at reading people, but could you tell? I could not tell. Does he think Sea of Thieves failed?
Definitely.
I couldn't tell.
He said the ship is sunk. I mean, I think around minute 7, I was starting to get that impression.
Yeah. I find myself in a very precarious Howard Stern-esque position. Do I mock? Do I agree?
If it's a Howard Stern position, I say we bring in strippers to wrestle in Jello.
Sure, we don't have a black female presence.
Wrestle in vegetarian caviar.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a black female presence to balance out our perversions, but I think we have our first whack packer.
Oh my god. I would say thank you for the call, but I'm legitimately worried about your
Yeah, man, you sounded really... I don't think his calls have sounded this anxious before. I hope you're okay, man. Hope you're okay.
No, I think you need some anxiety meds, or at the very least, you need a nice spa day. I would recommend getting the full treatment. Get the hot stones, maybe the deep tissue. get the facial mask, get some aromatherapy going.
Just experience
maybe
anything
some acupuncture.
that's not a video game for a day, and just remind yourself that
take a walk outside.
there are things
go
besides
to the park.
video games, and it's not life or death. Rare's been dead for like a ton of years, and then look, they came back, and maybe they're dead again for a couple months. Oh, they'll be back. Nothing. To quote,
I know
the most popular.
How many times are all the good ones are going to leave?
To quote the most popular Star Wars film of all time, The Last Jedi, no one's ever really gone forever, Ban. So come on, have some hope.
Well, The Last Jedi is a good comparison because you see all the people just, crucifying that, and I love The Last Jedi, so I don't know. Maybe I just have bad
love
taste.
The Last Jedi, but I don't love that film. But everything that makes the people that don't like it the most mad about it, I loved. So I don't really have a popular position on that film. Like, I don't like it just because of what it is, not because of anything it did specifically. I feel like most of its problems, Force Awakens set up for it. It tried to do clever ways of fixing those problems, and people didn't like that. So now we're kind of stuck with a what's next sort of feeling, I guess. But
You hated that it was a Star Wars movie. You were under the impression it was going to be a Battlestar Galactica feature film.
No, I was more disappointed that it wasn't just a Thrawn trilogy remake. But let's move on.
You wanted Banjo-Kazooie.
Exactly. It may sound like I'm belittling your opinion, Hyle, about The Last Jedi, and I know I'm always the guy on the forum of, Nick wants a Thrawn trilogy, but listen, I think if Disney wants to get people back, they go with Thrawn, baby. Crowd pleasing.
It's funny because I do lurk on places like Jedi Council on the Force.net.
Me too,
just
I'm
because,
on there.
Like, I like Star Wars, but I'm not like enough of a Star Wars nerd where I'm going to start like talking about it on forums.
I've become more hardcore
I like
lately, more EU heavy in like resistance to what is going on.
Well, yeah. So like I like looking at like the expanded universe forum just because it's interesting to me as a fan of Star Wars, but also a fan of fandom in general. Where I run this big fan community, so for me, like I like to see what other fan communities are up to, just as a way of putting our shit into perspective. And so it's interesting to me, like, to see the people who just will not have any of the Disney stuff because it's not like EU. Because clearly, people want Mara Jade.
I do.
Clearly, people want. I don't know. People want
Talon Card,
the Vong back. Yeah. So
no, I do. I've been getting heavy into old Star Wars EU because of my depression caused by the new stuff, But I think EU fans are incorrectly colored with a broad brush there, because I don't think we're in denial of the new stuff. It's just there's no reason Disney can't allow Legends to continue as a side thing, and yet they're refusing to let that happen. Like, look at Marvel, look at DC. Their TV universe is different from the movie universe, yet people don't get it confused. Like, why not still put books in Barnes & Noble that are about Dash Rendar or whoever? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't hurt anything. But no, it's all dead because the mouse says what goes now.
Okay, so now I feel like you're upset about something completely different. Ban's upset. I've got to put out so many fires here, and my house just burned down, so I'm not really the best person to do that.
You're out adrift at sea in a sea of anger.
Okay, so let me try to help you, Ban. I don't think you need to worry about Rare. I don't think you need to worry about Sea of Thieves. I think it's way too early, and I mean way too early to paint with any sort of broad brush.
And even if it does fail, and you listen back to this episode, it will not be embarrassing because we're saying it's too early. We're not ruling out the possibility it could fail. At least I'm not.
Okay, yeah, but I feel like...
But it's too early.
We're 5 days, as of this recording, into the game's launch to say, oh, it's dead, Rare is dead, it's over.
I'm pretty sure this happened with Destiny, and then I don't like or play Destiny, but they turned that around. Apparently.
Well, like I said, from my like insular gaming perspective, I don't really know, like, game launches like this, like a game that's like on a server, you know, that you play in a shared world environment. I don't know about like rough launches or what we consider critically rough launches, because I think to say Sea of Thieves has had a rough launch is painting with a negative brush. I think it's in many ways had a successful launch in that a lot of people who have played it are having a great time with it, and I think that any negative bandwagoning that's going on can't be used to say it's all over. It's all over. Game over, man.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that all the negative comments are from people that have played it and come to the conclusion that it sucks either. It very well could be people that already hated it to begin with, and now they're just happy that their hate is justified.
Or we're looking for a reason to hate it, right? I know you want a new Banjo, but I don't think that Rare just doing Banjo 3 would solve any of the problems. Ukulele was supposed to solve those problems. You know, Ukulele, when that was announced, that was going to be, you know, the second coming of Rare. Oh, you know, and then it got critically flogged. There's nothing to say that a Banjo 3 wouldn't have the same problem. There is no magic bullet here.
And people would see right through it. They'd be like, oh, look, Rare failed with their pirate game, so now they're trying to win us back. What pandering assholes. And also, Banjo 3E came out, like I've said, Ukulele, it didn't interest me enough to play it because it was so much of a clone of something else. It didn't have its own identity, in my opinion. But you got a new Banjo 3E, and people still got mad because it was like a classic platformer with classic platformer problems compared to modern games. So how is another Banjo 3E going to be any better? I don't know.
Yeah, basically this is just a catch-22 situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, and Craig Duncan has said in the last week that he would be open to other studios developing a new Banjo game. So, you know, if anything, I would imagine that being the route that Microsoft would take with Banjo, while Rare would continue to develop for Sea of Thieves while developing a new property as well. You know, eventually, I'm sure people like Greg Mails and others will move on from Sea of Thieves and start working on something else, while there'll be a dedicated team at Rare who will continue to shepherd Sea of Thieves into the future. So, because Sea of Thieves is just going to be an ongoing project at Rare.
I am curious. You said the game like lines up with Greg Mail's philosophies like perfectly. I guess I don't know what those officially are. Like, how do you think that is?
One, an immersive environment with very little interface.
Check.
So basically, you can interact with stuff with very little HUD elements. The only HUD elements
Health
that are
bar,
in there, like ammo and are basically there just as a conceit, because there's very little way to actually convey that in game. The range of emotion one can feel, from just pointless moments of serenity to, you know, traditional like, you know, white knuckle gameplay. Just basically a world that runs the gamut of the beauty of nature to the thrill of adventure, and that's the Greg Mail's design philosophy, and that's what made Donkey Kong Country so appealing to me back in '94, and what makes Sea of Thieves so appealing to me today. You know, I wish I had something better to say to you, Bane, except you need to actually play the game, buddy. I don't know if you actually have since you called in. I know you've been having trouble downloading it for whatever reason, but I think it would go a long way towards alleviating your concerns if you could actually experience it.
Yeah, and I think the problem here is all the Metacritic scores you're seeing. You know, if game journalists have integrity, we won't go there. I don't know. Who knows? But the ones that do are probably giving it a bad score simply because they're warning against someone buying it for $60 who expects more. But most of all the reviews still say it's a blast to play. It just lacks content. So really, the review score currently just means not worth $60, wait for it to go down in price. And so that's not really a failure or a death at all.
And I would say it is worth $60 if you're a fan of Rare.
Yeah, for me, but not for the common
if you're a fan of Rare, if you're a fan of the Greg Mail's design philosophy that I just discussed, if you're you know, if you fit into that group, this game is absolutely worth the $60 and then some, because it is an amazing experience. And
if you're scared to do it because you don't have a group of friends with Xboxes or who are willing to take the plunge, just come on our Discord server. We'll play with you.
Right. Exactly. So I understand you're nervous, and I see, doom and gloom post on the forum right now about the same. I would say relax. Just relax. Frankie, in this case the pitchfork from Conker's Bad Fur Day, says relax.
And he hung himself.
He did. He was able to do it. I couldn't figure it out. But luckily, I've talked myself out of the depressive state you helped put me in, Bayan. So I was able to overcome it. I know you can too. And we'll get you playing Sea of Thieves. We'll figure out what's going on with your download, why the game is not downloading after you've purchased it. Because I really feel like that would go a long way towards you seeing, oh, this game is great. Like, yeah, it may not be, as fully robust as I was hoping for, but my God, this is one of the most solid foundations I've ever seen in a game, Rare or otherwise. I don't know. Do you have anything you'd like to add to Mr. Bear?
No, other than the fact that I, of course, was kidding for comedic purposes when I jokingly said that you might have a screw loose or something. I understand your anxiety, but that's what I felt too before I played the game. So play the game.
Phil Spencer believes in Rare and believes in their mission statement, and he believes in this game. And so I think this is a game they have as part of their plans for the future. And it's part of their plans for the Game Pass, for Xbox Live. It's part of their portfolio going forward.
They have a lot writing on this game. They have a comic series, a lore book, an art book, a controller. I don't think they're going to just pull out right away because the critics don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Just because of some less than stellar reviews who were basically saying the game is good.
I mean, not to compare this to bad things, but like look at the Transformers movies or any series of bad films. They get horrendous critical response. They're the butt of every joke about what bad films are, yet people go see them in droves, and that's what keeps them alive. And right now, as far as I know, besides the technical issues and the word of mouth about lack of content, it had a pretty impressive launch, besides that stuff, like tons of people playing.
Absolutely. And the fact that in this day and age, a physical release means very little. So word of mouth can change. And once more time has passed, it's going to be very easy for people to buy the game. And it's also going to be interesting, like looking at the stats, how many people are playing it via Game Pass. And they're going to factor that into it as well. So it's not just this one-to-one correlation anymore of, this game is going to do poorly. This game is again, part of this portfolio that Microsoft Studios is offering gamers. And I feel like it's an important, integral part of their plans. So it's nothing they can pull out of, even if they wanted to. And I don't think they would want to.
Yeah, it's like that guy with the knife on his dick in 7. You can't just pull out.
Exactly what I was thinking about. It's weird how you read my mind.
Oh, we're on the same.
We're like simpatico,
same
man.
Baby.
G'day, lad. Scrap69 here. How's it cracking, eh? Actually, it's Captain Scraps to you. So, trim those sails, Hyle. Raise the sails, drop the sails, trim the sails. Raise them, half raise the sails. Port side, starboard. Trim the sails, drop the sails. Don't drop the anchor, trim the sails, raise the sails. Alright. I just thought I'd give you some post-traumatic stress over that one. Yeah. See if this is ace. I'm like it. And, Yeah. Yeah, I'll see that in the stage, lad.
So you said a Gideon knot, right?
Yeah, or maybe I was thinking of the Gideon's Bible. Read that maybe instead.
Bludgeon myself with it. Thanks for the call, Captain Scraps. A bit of a celebrity now. You are featured in the Tales from the Sea of Thieves book. We'll get into that on the next episode of the Kongversation. But again, disclosure here. Nick and I crewed up with Scraps himself the other night, and we had a 3-person galleon, and we had a hell of a time. It was a fun session. Most sessions are fun, but I mean, it was a real good time. And Scraps, though, has a unique way of sailing that he prefers. He has an abhorrence towards the notion of lowering the anchor. He likes to raise all of the sails on the ship to halt the ship's momentum, and then you jump off and you don't lower the anchor at all.
I guess it's better for
and then
quick
you don't have to raise
getaways.
it. Is it though? Is it really? It can take a long time
risky
to lower all the sails or raise the sails. And it's honestly, if you have an efficient crew and you all know to get on the capstan, it's much quicker to raise the anchor than it is to do the whole thing where you have to go to the sails and lower them. And I get that's your style of gameplay, man, and it's benefiting you. You're getting up there in your ranks and you're hauling more gold than any of us, but it does make a traumatic experience playing with Scraps, because he's like, trim the sails, do this, and I'm like, how about I just lower the anchor? How about I just do that? How about that, Scraps? Vote to log you in the brig.
Hey, if he wants to be Russell Crowe, let him be Russell Crowe.
Yeah. I'm cussing Russell. He can be Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's Nest.
There you go.
There I go. But thank you for the call, Scraps. And it is Scraps' pirate character, by the way. You look like a sex offender in the game. I look like Sean Bean or maybe professional wrestler Triple H. He looks like, I don't know.
Jason
he looks
Momoa?
like Blackbeard. Well, no, he looks like Blackbeard if Blackbeard was like thrown through a thresher on the farm. Like he's missing limbs. He looks like he's gone
So if
through some
Blackbeard
gnarly
got
shit
the
in
Steve
his day.
Buscemi treatment, essentially.
Exactly. So it's interesting that the pirates we've gravitated towards. I obviously want to be a romance cover model. You know, I've been trying to get Fabio on the Kongversation for
but
so
now
long.
you have him in the game. Watch out for seagulls.
Hello, Hyle and Spuzzwick. It is me, Tony. And I just want to let you guys know I have two people talking in my head right now. Just to let you know. But I just want to talk. But I just, the voice in my head told me to put down the building. But I wanted to talk to you about Sea of Thieves, okay? Because Sea of Thieves just came out, and I've been playing it a bit. I made up to level 10 on each of the, merchants. I don't know. All of them, okay? And Hyle, this is kind of how I felt towards UKLA too, but I feel a bit underwhelmed so far. Now, I don't want to say I hate the game, because I don't, because I have a lot of fun of it with friends. It's a great experience, you know, you have a lot of fun, but I have a few issues. I'll talk to you about them. I want to know what you think. First issue is that the NPCs are useless. They have no purpose in the game. They are not memorable. There's no good character in Sea of Thieves, besides for, arguably, you and your friends. Nobody's interesting. And, of course, we have not found Captain Black Eye yet, who I genuinely think is not in the game, because people data mine games, so I assume that if they data mined it, then someone would already have found him in the game's code or something. So, yeah, that's also kind of a big worry. And my final complaint so far, of course, is that you can't do anything. There's 3 different types of missions, voyages. You just do them over and over and over again. But it kind of gets boring now because I've been doing it all this time during the alpha and the beta, and that's all you do in the game. There's a helicopter behind. But you see what I mean? Like, I'm kind of disappointed a bit so far. Now, I know they're going to add content, which I hope is a lot of stuff. But right now, it feels not much different from the beta, which is what disappoints me. Now, I love Rare. Craig Duncan follows me on Twitter. He's a great guy. I love everyone there. But, I don't know. So far, I'm a little disappointed with how the game came out. And I hope Rare's been taking the feedback, seriously. Because, I don't want to sound negative, but, well, maybe I do. But, the game, as of right now, is just not cutting it for me. And, I think it maybe should have been $30. Or a monthly subscription. A monthly fee just to play. Oh yeah, it's back. Guys, I'm back in the call, so let's do this. Hey everyone, hey Hyle, I just realized my last call cut short. I don't know if it was because of the hotline dropping me after 3 minutes, or if the voice in my head told me to hang up, but obviously they don't win, I win. But, yeah, shut up. You see Thieves, it's disappointing me right now. It's not cutting. It's not working for me. And actually, it literally was not working for me for one day. Where me and the master of the Nintendo DS were trying to play, and apparently the servers were down for like 9 hours, and it kind of also upset me a bit. But yeah, just I want to know something, by the way. Do you guys truly think Captain Black Guy is still in the game? Because I don't think so. In the last call, I mentioned the data mining stuff, but I really don't think this game's going to be DKU under the current rules. So here I am making a proposal to you. Just rewrite the rules of the DKU. I mentioned this before, but I think DKU as a concept is flawed because I don't think characters matter because it's obvious that the Sea of Thieves is in the same universe because of Prison Island, the treasure trove cave, and Golden Bananas. And they even mentioned Captain Black Eye, Mr. Black Eye. So it's obvious it's in the same universe. So why is it not DKU then if Captain Black Eye is not in it? Same thing for, well, actually. Maybe you wouldn't be DKU under that rule because they said that's not the same universe out of, the, whatchamacallit. But, in an interview or something. But, my point is, man, this game ain't looking DKU and that's kind of scary. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. But, just remember, Hyle, the Sea of Thieves is kind of fun. And I like it, but I want more from it. That's how I felt doing Smash 4.
The beginning of the first call he made there, Nick, did Mamechi just admit to burning down my house?
It sounded like it.
Okay.
Is he joking about the voices, or... Because I don't want to make fun if he legitimately has struggles with schizophrenia or something, but...
No, I don't want to make fun. I'm just glad I have these restraining orders already filled out and ready to go.
I never know if someone's joking or not. If you're joking, ha ha ha. If you're not, I'm sorry.
Unless they're of the pygmy people, and then fuck them.
Pygmies, dude. But, yeah, I mean, I see where he's coming from. And technically I agree with almost every statement he said. There are no great NPCs that I'm going to remember past tomorrow. I mean, they could change all the NPCs and I wouldn't notice next time I log in.
But, Rare's also been upfront that the point of the game isn't NPCs.
I guess it's
the point of the game is...
Yeah, I can't strip myself from that being one of the things I love about Rare, I guess. It's kind of hard to put up with. I mean, even the most flawed of their games, at least you could say, had great characters. But, Yeah.
Well, okay, but also we know that more characters are coming. We know Flameheart.
We don't know that.
The Pirate
I hope
Lord.
That. I really, really hope that. And
there's this whole thing where you're building up to become a pirate legend, and then you have access to the pirate legends,
which are still
tavern.
you just get longer fetch quests, though, right?
Well, but I mean, I think you got those pirate legends that hang out in the back of every tavern, with the glowing white eyes, and
or are they legends themselves, or are they just keepers of the legends?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't really looked into it yet, or if anybody's actually gotten to that status yet, because I'm trying to keep spoiler free as much as possible. But you know how the stairs to the taverns are broken.
Yes.
I think that's where you'll access this legend realm. Is the stairs will repair themselves, and then you get to go upstairs, and it's going to be this ethereal tavern, where characters like the Pirate Lord and maybe Black Eye are. But we know characters like Belle, stuff like that. They may not be in the game day one, but they have plans for them. Or they
I agree with everything he said. It's just when he kind of glossed over the fact where he's like, it's really fun, I love playing with friends, but... And then everything he said after that I agreed with, but I would focus a lot more on the fact that he said it was really fun, because this is one of those... In another game, I might... This usually isn't my stance. I'm usually not just, well, if it's fun, that's all that matters. It's a game. Because I do usually like a bit of story, a bit of... But, I mean, visually and fun factor-wise, this game is really fun. I mean, so it kind of makes all the other stuff a little bit... It goes... Sugar helps the medicine go down, or whatever.
Yeah. It's like his point was, the game is really fun, but I'm never going to vote for Tim, the shopkeeper, for the DK Vine Hall of Fame. It's... I don't know. I mean, his point was, oh, well, I've already done a lot of this stuff in the closed beta. Well, okay, but, a lot of people didn't get to play the closed beta yet. And, so I think they were, confident as, okay, we've got, the base to a good place. We could technically release it now. And so I think you just got to be patient. I think... And I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear.
I wonder if they had a meeting at Rare and kind of weighed the pros and cons of releasing it now. I wonder if they were like... And
I'm sure they... Look, Rare is a Rare is a huge company. It's not just a few people making games in a barn anymore. It's part of a huge empire.
So they probably weighed the risk of bad reviews with longevity. Or I am hoping.
Yeah. I mean, there's people above our pay grade who have already considered all of this, and they don't have to just speculate wildly on a low rent podcast that a guy's doing out on a small little dinghy out at sea.
My microphone cost a lot.
Now
to rent,
he brings.
So speak for yourself.
Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to belittle you or your struggle. # the struggle is real.
# the Kraken has no body.
The DKU aspect you brought up. Is the game Donkey Kong
Who
Universe?
cares?
I have an adamant... Oh, okay.
I care too. I'm staff on DK Vine. I care. But I'm just saying, even if it's not, that won't affect our enjoyment of it at all.
So here is DK Vine's official position, and we have official positions, people. We are
a hive mind.
We are important enough. We are important enough to have official positions on matters. Our official position was, even if the game was somehow not part of what we call the Donkey Kong universe or the shared Rare universe, which we define with physical character appearances, even if that's not the case, even if that wasn't the case, we would still cover it because it's such a spiritually important game from Rare that we would be derelict in our duty not to cover it. Much in the same way, before we knew whether or not they're going to stick a goldfish in Yooka-Laylee, we were going to cover
just
Yooka-Laylee,
like if I worked,
right?
Like if I worked for the Force.net, I personally am have kind of turned into this EU purist who's against the new stuff, but I would still cover it because it's Star Wars. It's still, you know what I mean?
Right. Just because you much prefer the character of Bria Theron over whoever Emilia Clarke is playing in Solo, a Star Wars story. That doesn't mean you're not still going to cover Solo, a Star Wars
Exactly.
story.
There could be two different universes, two timelines. If this isn't DKU, it's pretty darn close, so why not at least check up? I mean, keep people abreast on it.
There is a great thread in the EU section of the Force.net forums where there's a guy attempting to reconcile the original expanded universe with the new canon and have it be all one universe. And that's what I said back when they announced that reboot. I am disappointed if no Star Wars fans attempt this, because that would be me.
Yeah.
And so he's got this notion. Well, yeah, Han and Leia had 4 kids, and you just never heard about this other one, and then you never hear about the others during these stories. But
when Rey happens upon Luke, he's already been through the entire Thrawn trilogy, everything. He just doesn't bring any of it up.
It doesn't come up, because why would it? It's not important for the story itself. Yeah. Now, okay, so that was our position, but I've been adamant since day one that this is DKU.
You claim to know things I don't know, but I don't, so I can't take a stance. Well,
just because we haven't physically seen Captain Blackeye or TT in the game, just because data miners haven't found anything, doesn't mean they aren't going to be implicated. Well, I guess some of these characters, if Baron Von Ghoul is in the game, he would be implicated in all sorts of
have data miners found anything yet with this game?
I don't know, because I don't look what data miners do, because that ruins things for me. I don't necessarily want that, because I feel like it's just an unearned spoiler.
I think it was Scrap saying he's the exact opposite, I think is what he said to me while we were playing.
He did say that, and then I voted to lock him in the brig right after he did his nonsense about raising the sails. So, just because they haven't been found in the game does not mean they aren't coming, or they can't be implemented in, the many future updates Rare has planned for this game. And, we do have some references in universe towards elements of the Donkey Kong universe. So it's not like everything is barren thus far. We just don't have anything that makes it a slam dunk. So there are references to
games,
the Jolly Roger
I would say
Inn.
There are other games that are far more of a stretch to try to make DKU than this one. I mean, this one has so many things that are obvious references to it. Then why not?
Yes. The references to the Jolly Roger Inn opening, and of course Blackeye being the boss of one of the clothing merchants, he gets name dropped. So, one, that would mean that Jolly's Inn from Banjo-Tooie has been an establishment that's been around in some form or fashion since the 1600s. Meaning Jolly Roger is not his actual name, he just took the name of the tavern, much like Arnold from Happy Days.
I think I just realized why this game appeals to you so much. The whole make up your own stories, adventures thing, that's like everything DK Vine is. Like half of the stuff that we reference are things that has never been said ever or appeared in any game. It's just nonsense we came up with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this game is just a sandbox for Hyle Russell and nobody else, which is why the critics aren't having it.
Oh,
and I'm just like,
it's for me too.
This is the best
I don't know
game
if
ever.
I'd stay in the sandbox as long as you, but I'm loving it.
Well, that's just because I'm going to pee all over the sandbox, and I'm going to take a dump.
That'll give me that yellow hat I was looking for.
That is true. So maybe you should stick around. So we know that like Blackeye is definitely part of this world. He just hasn't made a physical appearance. But I think Blackeye showing up, it's something that everybody wants. And when I say everybody, I mean like long-term Rare diehards. Yeah. So I think when Blackeye shows up, it shouldn't just be.
It should be an event. It should be Blackeye's revenge or something.
It's an event. And Rare has all of these big events planned.
I can't wait for those.
I know, and we're definitely gonna be crewing up
Absolutely.
for those. So just because we haven't found a TT item in the game, or we haven't seen a physical sign of Black Eye yet, doesn't mean that they aren't, or they won't be, or that they aren't going to be coming at some point. And it's going to be a big deal when they come. Remember, Connect Sports Rivals wasn't DKU at first either, but then somehow Mumbo showed up later on, and that was an event. It's going to be the same thing here. So just give it time, people. Just take our word for it that it will be part of the DKU.
Take Hyle's word for it. I don't know for
can...
sure, but I want it to be.
I'm implicating Nick in this too. Sorry, buddy, you signed on for this. It will be, so just hang on. In the meantime, enjoy the game because it's a lot of fun.
Enjoy it
and,
in all its flawed beauty, because things can be nuanced, things can be part good, part bad. I mean, nothing in the game is bad, I'd say. It's more what's not there that is making people sad, and we'll get that eventually if we just support it,
The Earth, the world itself, existence is flawed beauty, Nick. I mean, on one hand, we've got rainbows and kittens. On the other hand, we have malaria.
And Terry Richardson.
All existing in the same world. And Terry Richardson. Now, I didn't want to bring this up because I'm not one to self-promote or say, I visited Rare before. I got to play the game before everybody else. I'm not one to do that. That would be petty. And Tom Petty is dead. Look where that got him. So, that's not me. But at the end of the day, Nick, and it wasn't me who pointed this out. It was you, Mamechi. You and Cameron and other people, I think, on Twitter pointed this out.
I was there in the land of Oz, and you were there, Mamechi, and you, Mitch. Sorry, it just sounded like that. I guess we could call them Munchkins and not that
pygmies.
is a much better term.
Maybe that is true. I don't know why Wikipedia said there was no term to replace it.
We've been more like the lollipop tribe than gang, right?
And I think that's less offensive than calling them hobbits.
Oh, yeah, definitely don't want to do that.
So we have a very shifty, dubious, in case of emergency, break glass here move to make that we could make it Donkey Kong Universe. At the end of the day, let's say 100 years from now when they finally shut down the servers, or at the heat death of the universe when Sea of Thieves finally ends, and I'm a floating head in a jar.
100 years from now when they shut down the server, you're such an optimist.
Hey man, what can I say? That's what years of therapy will do for Bayan. I'm just saying. I have somebody's card. I can give you help to get you over this rough patch that you're going through. So Nick, I'm in the credits of the game.
This is true.
Did you know that? I'm not only am I in the credits of the game, my picture is in the credits of the game.
You got sent a chest in the mail, and you're the golden boy. We all know.
The golden hoarder, yes. Hyle the Hoarder. It works. It's alliterative. So because I'm in the credits, and not just in this like thanks for backing us credit, but I'm in the credits as a special thanks. Like I'm not. It wasn't like the Patreon ukulele credits.
Way
not
different
Patreon,
than
Kickstarter ukulele credits. Yeah. Not only am my name in the credits, my picture's in there too. So at the end of the day, I could have Word of God over certain aspects of it. And if those aspects of the game are to tie it into the greater Donkey Kong
Your name
universe,
in the game... Okay, I guess if your name's in the credits, you have Word of God. Is that a rule?
Not a hard rule.
But a fast rule.
More like a lightly... slightly flaccid rule. So like, obviously I don't have Word of God over things like game lore, like, Skellies or Flameheart or stuff like that. But, let's just say, and I think this came up on Twitter, if, there's a lot of water in the game. It's beautiful, brilliant water. I commented it on the water in the E3 2016 trailer. It was great water. And, you know, what if that water was the water that eventually became George and Mildred Ice Cube?
Oh, wow.
Would that make it DKU? Would I have the authority to say that? Well, I am in the credits, am I not? And my area of expertise is in making these bullshit connections. Is it not? Would you dispute that, Nick? So I'm just saying, at the end of the day...
Whatever Howard Hughes' best friend was when he saw him starting to pee in jars and the nails grow long, I feel like that guy.
Look, I've told you, Nick, I'm peeing in those jars so you can soak your hat in it. I'm doing it all for you.
It is worthy cause.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.